A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, The Scapegoat by Richard Maples. But first, hear this.
When the ice is smooth and the sky is blue and the skaters' waltz is played for two.
You make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now, X minus 1 and The Scapegoat.
The old guy didn't have a chance. All he could do was shield his head with his limp arms and moan, while this other fellow, a husky young six-footer, gave him a vicious, cold-blooded beating. Hey, cut it out! You, cut it out beating up an old man like that! I said cut it out! Now, let go of him. Well, what have you got to say for yourself before I belt you as hard as you hit the old man here? Well, hey, you, wait! Wait, you no-good hoodlum! Hey, you all right, Pop? Are you okay? What happened? Was he trying to rob you or something? Look, you'll be all right now. You'll be okay. You're lucky I came along then. No cops anywhere. Okay, come on, old-timer. Up on your feet. You're going home with me. I suppose it seems callous to think of it, but this old man was just what I'd been looking for. A brutal assault and a helpless old man, and I was the hero, just what I needed. You see, I'd just come from a meeting with the city fathers and the commissioner of the police department. And old man Jones, my publisher, had promptly yanked the rug out from under me and chickened. I'd written the articles panning the city's handling of the juvenile delinquency problem, because Jones had to be in his bonnet to be the mayor. Now, when the heat was on, he weaseled out. We had a few words, Jones and I quit. But now I had him, an eyewitness story, no cops anywhere, and a young bruiser beating up a defenseless old man. I figured I'd take him home, let my wife fix him up, keep him around the house until the story broke.
Ed, what's the idea? Ed!
All right, take it easy, honey. It's all right. This old guy just needs some patching up, that's all. Come on, old-timer.
Oh, but he looks awful. Who is he? What is blood?
Now, come on. Help me get him inside.
He's cold. His wrist is cold.
Yeah, shock, I think. Come on, in with him. All right, now, let him down on the chair. There you are, Pop.
Were you in an accident?
No, some hoodlum was beating him up. I chased him off.
Oh, that's awful. Did you call the police?
There weren't any police there. I'm going to crack this whole situation wide open with this story.
Hey, Mom! Hey! Wow!
Never mind. Go into the bathroom and bring out some towels. Ed, we'll need some bandages.
Yeah, we'd better get a blanket around him.
A blanket? It's 90 degrees.
It's for shock, son.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay, Mom.
Ed, I think he's coming to now. He's opening his eyes.
No, you're all right, old-timer. You're all right.
Well, isn't this cozy?
What's your name?
Ash?
Ash. And first name?
That's it.
Oh, then what's your last name?
I don't know.
All right. Take it easy. What happened? Who was that hoodlum? Did you ever see him before?
I don't remember.
Well, why was he hitting him?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You missing any money?
I'm not sure.
Well, I suppose I scared him off before he could rob you.
Yes. Oh, yes, you rescued me, didn't you? I'm really very grateful.
Don't try to talk too much now. You'll feel better after you've had something to eat.
Ed, we have nothing in the house. We were just going to have a salad.
Well, salad's all right.
Well, Ed, I think maybe we'd better get Mr. Ash to a hospital or to his house or something.
Oh, look, Nana, I told you I want him
Ed,
here.
please. Come inside.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Come inside.
Okay. You just sit right here, Mr. Ash. I'll be right back. I just want
Yes, I'll be all right now.
Nan, what's the matter with you?
Get rid of him.
What?
Get him out of here.
Well, why?
He gave me the willies.
Oh, no, it's just the heat.
You must know he leered at me.
Oh, Nan, he's an old man. He's just been beat up and in shock.
Ed, please.
Oh, no. I've got to keep him here. He's my proof. I'll write a story that'll rip the administration wide open, and Jones can't pull it out because I've got the proof right here, and I was the eyewitness.
But, Ed,
No.
please.
He stays here, and that's all there is to it.
You're listening to The Scapegoat, tonight's attraction on X-1. Once, a tall and beautiful tree stood in the forest. It had been there for 200 or 300 years. In the course of that time, wind shook it and lightning struck near it. A hurricane bent it once until its top was nearly at the ground. But none of the ferocious assaults could fell that tall, proud tree. But then one day, the most spindly-legged, pot-bellied, adenoidal, open-mouthed creature that the forest had ever seen sat down in the cool shade of that tree. This was what was called a man, and he wanted to smoke what is called a cigar. He did. And he threw his match among the pine needles, and when he had smoked the cigar, he threw that away, too, and went off, because somewhere down by the lake there was waiting for him what is called a woman. And he had the hope that maybe she didn't feel like nagging anymore. Before nightfall, that tree that had withstood all those assaults was ashes, and thousands of other trees in that forest were, too. The man is still living. If you know any of his species, you might tell him that trees don't have Adam's apples and shrill voices. Trees are beautiful, and men ought to be careful with matches. Now back to X-1 and The Scapegoat.
The old man seemed to recover pretty quickly. I suppose mostly because I'd gotten there in time. As a matter of fact, he began to talk, and he kept it up through the whole meal. And it was the craziest story you ever heard. He insisted he'd come from another world outside our solar system, where people existed in a kind of liquid state, bouncing about for the most part like large water-filled bladders. They were, however, capable of taking almost any shape their superior minds willed. They could flatten and drift about on the water, or they could inflate and rise in the air.
As a matter of fact, they can even become facsimiles of other living things, taking on the shape and texture and coloration, a capability which adds greatly in their main function of traveling as missionaries of goodness among the peoples of the galaxy.
Goodness, huh?
Oh, yes. They're perfect. As perfect as angels.
All right. I've had enough. I asked for it.
Nan, where are you going? Don't rush off.
Well, I guess I know when I'm being kidded. Very funny, Mr. Ash.
But I'm not kidding.
Don't tell me that you're a missionary to Earth.
Oh, no, I'm here because I was banished.
Oh, sort of a fallen angel.
Exactly.
Look, Ash, it's too hot for games. If you don't want to explain what happened this afternoon, that's your privilege. But as you know, this story means a lot to me. And I did stick my neck out for you.
One moment, my boy. Let me finish. You see, I'm a throwback.
A what?
A throwback, an atavism. They tried to reform me, but there was something rather fundamental about me, something rather evil. Then, of course, as a last resort, they put me into one of the machines, and they threw the switch.
Oh, sure. They killed you. Look, I'm not in the mood for Shaggy Dog stories.
They didn't kill me, exactly. It was sort of like water being scraped over the edge of a sharp rock. When I came to, I was drifting through space. And then, of course, much later, I landed on Earth. Oh, I've had many shapes through the years. Mainly people who died. I find that's much more convenient.
Yeah. Well, look, if you'll excuse me, I have to make a telephone call. I'll just go into the other room.
I dare say you want to call the hospital. I'm not psychotic, really.
I've got iced coffee.
Ah, yes, you're just in time, Mrs. Potter. I think perhaps I'd better prove my story if you'll wait just a moment. You see, it's done by the generation of a high electrostatic field. Something like this. If you'll notice, my face begins to lose definition. It moves as if it had a life of its own. Now what?
Stop it!
Well, that looks considerably younger, doesn't it?
30 years younger. 30 years just dropped away like... Listen, this story will set the whole country on its ear. With my byline on it.
Oh, Ed, don't let him take you in. It's a trick. It's mass hypnotism or something.
I saw it right here. So did you. I'll have an exclusive. Life will have to come to me for the story. I've got to admit that I could share something of Anne's point of view. He wasn't really very pleasant. As a matter of fact, he had what you call colossal gall. After supper, he came right down to cases.
Naturally, if I'm to stay here and keep my identity secret until you can arrange for an exclusive story, I will need a little pocket money.
How much?
How much you got?
Well, I don't know. I got about $22, and payday isn't until Thursday.
Well, how about your bank account?
Hey, now, wait a minute.
Well, we'll see what we can arrange later. I am a little tired, though. I think it's about time to go to bed. I noticed a rather comfortable bed in here. Well, I'll see you all in the morning. Good night. And thank you again for rescuing me.
Ed, that's our bedroom.
I know.
Well, you go right in there and tell him that he can't sleep.
He locked the door.
Oh, Ed, do something.
All right. You get some sheets from the linen closet, and I'll make up the couch. Next day, I made careful inquiries, started to feel around for contacts on live at the AP, someplace to really break the story big. About 5 p.m, Jones, the publisher, called me into his office.
Sit down, Ed. I've got some good news.
Now, look, Mr. Jones, ever since you left me out on a limb at the mayor's
conference... Oh, now,
let's
not worry about that, Ed. We've got something very interesting going for us now that changes everything. They've arrested a gang of kids for shoplifting. Well, one of them is Tommy, your son.
What? Arrested Tommy?
Wait, Ed, don't go off half-cocked. It's a break, don't you see? You can cover delinquency with the lid off now. You'll be riding as a parent in the same boat with other parents. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
At the police station, I had the distinct feeling they'd been waiting for me.
Well, Mr. Potter, we meet under unfortunate circumstances.
Can the phony sympathy, Thompson? Just let me see my boy.
We'd better have a little talk first about all those articles you're writing about the police force.
I've got no talking to do. This is a lousy frame-up against me and the paper. Now, you get my son out here and do it fast.
You don't understand, Mr. Potter. Your son is in trouble. He's been identified as leading a gang of kids who spent most of the morning shoplifting in the stores all over town.
That's nonsense. How could my boy do anything like that? He's only 12. Who identified him anyway?
The shopkeepers and the other members of the gang. You can see him, Mr. Potter, but I still think we'll want to have our little talk.
Hon, what's this all about?
It was Ash.
Ash?
Yes, I told him about the gang.
What the heck are you talking about?
So the fellas got together and built a hut for a clubhouse.
What does the gang do?
Oh, different things. One of the fellas has a .22 and we hunt rats and...
Well, go ahead. What is it?
We smoke.
Oh. And what else?
That's all, honest.
What about shoplifting?
No, that was Ash. He wanted me to talk the gang into shoplifting, but I wouldn't. Then he changed himself to look like me and talked the fellas into it when I wasn't around. I only knew about it because I ran into them after they'd robbed their store.
Who is this Ash he keeps talking about?
Why, he's a man... Oh, never mind. Listen, the boy's beside himself because of all he's been through. Will you let me take him home with me?
Of course, Mr. Potter, but the charges still hold. Don't forget to stop in and have our little talk before you report back to juvenile court.
I called the house, and Ash answered the phone.
I'm glad you called, Ed. I'm out of cash, you know. I need a small loan.
Now, listen, you. The police have picked up Tommy. He's been charged with the shoplifting you did today.
Oh, now I'm sorry about that. You see, there's a certain cultural difference between you and me. I didn't understand.
You're going to help me get him out, you hear? You're going to tell everybody the truth.
Well, of course. Of course I will.
Now, listen. I'm coming home. Nan will be back from her mother's any minute. Don't you tell her about this, you hear?
Well, of course I won't. I'll be waiting right here.
I suppose I was a fool, but I still wanted that story. I wanted it so bad I could taste it. The exclusive account of an extraterrestrial being. Driving home, I had it all figured out. I'd bring Ash down to the police station. He'd tell the story, go through his changing act to convince him, and spring Tommy. I'd have my story already filed and beat everybody. In the meantime, I just hoped Nan wouldn't spoil everything alone with it. Alone with it. And then suddenly I let my foot come down on the accelerator like it was made out of lead. I pulled the car to a stop and sprinted up the driveway. Nan! Nan, where are you? There was no moving. Nan stood in the far corner with her back against the wall. Her shoulders were scratched and her lip cut. She held a heavy bookend, poised to strike at Ash, who was in front of her, moving stealthily forward. He turned as I came in, and I froze in amazement. I couldn't recognize it. And then, all at once, I realized I was looking at the spitting image of myself.
Ed, I knew it wasn't you. I knew it wasn't you.
Well, if you'll both excuse me, come back here. I'll get you. I'll get you.
I bolted through the window and circled the house. I spotted him rushing down the street, and I caught him around the corner at the same spot where I'd first seen him.
Let go of me!
You've got this coming to you! You've got this coming to you! I slugged him, yet I knew it was useless the instant the blow landed. He felt just like sponge rubber, yet I kept hitting him. I didn't bother listening to his cries, even after he changed himself back to an old man. And then suddenly I felt a hand grab my shoulder and whirl me around, and a fist exploded in my eye.
What's the matter with you? What do you think you're doing, beating up an old man like that? You no good. Who am I out of...
I searched desperately for an explanation. And then, abruptly, without having said a word, I reeled and stumbled down the street. Home to Nan.
Fred Collins again, and I'll have another word for you about X-1 in a moment.
Hi, this is Walter O'Keefe. You know, they say there's nothing new under the sun, and maybe that's true. But there is something new under the moon, and that's Nightline. In Nightline, we think we found the way to use the intimacy as well as the lightning-fast maneuverability of radio in an hour-and-a-half package of high-voltage, different entertainment. We found the way to make the airwaves your magic carpet to wherever big things are happening. Anywhere in the country, for that matter, anywhere in the world. Now, let's say that your favorite comedian is performing at a Las Vegas nightclub. He's packing them in, and you've really got to have connections to get a table. Well, Nightline is that connection. And your radio is your ringside table. More things than you'd believe are happening in the so-called still of the night. And Nightline is your line to exciting entertainment after dark. My feeling is Nightline marks a new era in nighttime entertainment. Tune us in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you'll hear what I mean.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Shadow World by Clifford D. Simak. Of all the upsetting phenomena, the most alarming was this. I had a little shadow that went in and out with me. It's in Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Scapegoat, written by Richard Maples and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in our cast were Carl Weber as Ed, Wendell Holmes as the changeable Mr. Ash, Jane Amar as Nan, Bobby Alford as Tommy, Guy Rep as Mr. Jones, and Roger DeCoven as Thompson. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Kenneth McGregor and is an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
The magic island of Euclidia, home of a colony of mad scientists, would be a weird enough place to visit on a sightseeing tour. But it becomes fearful indeed to the little party of worldly people imprisoned there. When Mrs. Patricia Gregory set out to look for her young daughter, lost 14 years ago in a shipwreck, she little dreamed of the dangers her party would encounter. Captain Tex Bradford, friend of Patricia Gregory and organizer of the expedition, young Jerry Hall, amateur radio operator who begged to accompany them, and Joan Gregory, the daughter, are now prisoners on the island. Or rather, inside the island, as their quarters are down in the depths of this man-made structure. Left to their own devices after their escape and recapture, our friends soon discover that there is little pleasure in their imprisonment. They are nearly maddened by the constant echo of their voices in the steel chambers.
Well, I know things don't look any too hot for us right now, but we've got to keep our chins up.
Oh, you've been wonderful, Jerry. I think yours is the strongest one of all.
And I'm willing to admit that I'm not apt to be much help about getting us out of this place.
Jerry is quite right in putting forward a brave face, even though intelligent thought would rule it useless.
Now, look here, Joan. Nobody's going to rule my face useless.
My reference was to your attitude rather than your appearance. However, if we are to enter into discussion of the matter, exactly what value does your face have?
Did you hear that? What value does my face have?
Now, Jerry, don't get excited and start an argument with Joan. We can occupy our time better than that.
Oh, it would seem so, Tex, and yet we must talk about something, and there's so little to be said.
But Joan, let you and I go in my room at the end of the hall where we can figure a way out of this thing.
I'm quite willing to confer with you, if you will confine your conversation to the bounds of logic, Gerald.
Gerald? Huh. This is going to be a fine argument, Gerald. Oh, well, come on.
Take a look at the pigeons while you're there, will you?
We'll make sure they're all right.
You will make sure of nothing, my young fool.
G47.
Precisely.
We were merely going into the next chamber for a discussion, G47.
Then be on your way. I have something to say to your mother and Captain Bradford.
Come right on in, G47.
Your attempt at courtesy is only a ridiculous gesture. I shall come and go within these chambers as I please.
Well, is it all right if we go on now?
No. Nothing you could do would be right. But you have my permission. Go.
Come on, Joan. You know, that guy gives me the willies.
Jerry, the willies are what?
Oh, so you forgot that already. Here I waste a lot of time trying to teach you English, and now you forget what the willies are.
I am sorry, Jerry, but your words are so strange to me.
No more than this blame island is strange to me. Hey, this door's open. That means old Geometry's been in here taking himself a good look around.
We cannot prevent that. He rules Euclidia.
Yeah, I know it. Well, let's go in and sit down. Maybe we can figure some way out of this mess.
These apartments are very comfortable, are they not?
They are not. This blame echo thing is driving me crazy. Nothing is comfortable that you can't get out of when you want to.
You may be right.
You know I'm right.
No, Jerry. I know you think you are quite correct in everything you do, but
I'm getting along all right. Now listen, old G47 isn't calling on your mother and Captain Bradford for any tea party. He's going to threaten him with something or else promise him something to get Texas formula. And we may have to work fast to figure another escape.
But there is no opportunity for escape now.
That's what you said before, and we got away.
But we did not, as you would say. Stay got away.
Stay got away. Oh, what's the use? Now, if we only get another chance to use those pigeons. Hey, Joan, the pigeons are gone.
Jerry, they are not here.
No, I'll say they're not here. But how did they get out?
G47.
But we'd have heard him moving around in this echo stuff here.
Not G47. He would make no sound.
No sound? In this place?
Did you hear any footsteps when he came to the door?
Golly whiskers, Joan, you're right. It didn't make a sound. But when we walk around here, it sounds like a truck on cobblestones.
We have been talking for a considerable period of time in Mother's apartment.
Uh-huh. Long enough for him to do anything he wanted to.
There have been no homing pigeons on Euclidia, to my knowledge, which is, of course, limited to the confines of information our scientists have stipulated as the maximum advisable for consumption at my age.
Right with you, Joan. Those old boys have told you as much as they thought a kid could swallow.
Gerald, I am not a kid. A kid.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell me again. A kid is a young goat. Now, if you'll stop trying to educate me and listen to reason for a while, we might figure a way out of this.
But there is no way out. G47 will not relax the vigilance of the Euclideans again. Our case is particularly hopeless since our escape.
Why any more since that?
G47 will now realize our potentialities and be doubly anxious to secure the captain's formula.
Well, he can figure all he wants to. But G47 or no G47, we'll get off this funny island someday, and I'll bet it won't take long either.
It seems almost impossible that so stupid a person would be given such splendidly continuous vocal equipment.
Jerry, he heard you.
Oh, what of it? He didn't hear anything he doesn't know.
It would need a man far more ignorant than any on Euclidia to learn anything new from one of your mental caliber halls. In a very short space of time, you may understand more fully what I mean. In a very short time. A very short...
Gee, he's gone. Through that steel wall, without a sound.
Jerry, you should know that G47 did not go through that steel wall.
Well, it looked like he did.
And even after your experiences with these Euclidean scientists, you are willing to accept the appearance for the fact?
Oh, yeah, he didn't go through the wall at all.
To be sure he did not.
To be sure, nothing of this is Screwy Island. But I guess I know what happened. He stepped around a sharp corner in that hallway, and the polished steel made his reflection look like he was passing through.
Now your mental processes are functioning again.
Yeah, but no matter how old Geometry got out of here, it's just another good sign that he knows a lot of tricks we'll have trouble catching up with.
Jerry, listen.
Yeah, that's a signal to submerge, isn't it?
It is. And that would mean one of two things.
Well, I know it means the island is in danger of being seen for one thing, but what's the other?
Something which would mean the end of all our hopes.
Huh? They're going to drown us?
I think not, but it might be as well.
Hey, listen. I don't like the way you say that. What goes on here?
Here they are in here, Pat.
Oh, Joan, Jerry, we've the most wonderful news.
Observation would lead us to conclude that information of an optimistic nature would be welcome.
Joan's afraid things are looking bad for us.
Well, they don't look any too good. But with what we just found, there's every chance we'll get away from this island.
What is it?
The very thing we've been looking for every hour since we landed on this mad island. Look.
A little black notebook. Well?
The diary of the old sailor.
Is that it?
That's it, boy. The old sailor's diary. And if it's as complete as we think it is, we'll know as much about this island as the Euclideans know.
You will undoubtedly find much of value in that book.
It wasn't even hidden. After G47 left the room, Tex and I started to get acquainted with our surroundings. And there, lying on a shelf in plain sight, was this book.
And that old sailor spent years here, didn't he, Joan? Years in which he studied this island and waited for his chance to escape, and made entries of all he learned in this diary.
That is true.
Then that diary should tell us all we need to know to plan an escape from this place.
Without doubt, it will tell us all we need to know to plan the escape.
But, Joan, dear, why do you sound so hopeless?
Oh, Joan is so afraid of these people she doesn't realize the chance this gives us.
I don't know about that. When Joan puts on the graveyard look, she's usually got a pretty good reason for it.
But there couldn't be anything lacking in what this book means to us. We all agreed, and you were heartily in agreement with us on it, Joan, that if we could find this diary, it would quite possibly mean our escape.
Where did you say you found this book?
In Pat's apartment.
And the book was not concealed? No attempt had been made to hide it?
Why, no, dear. It was lying right in front of us.
You're right, Joan.
Maybe I'm thick, but I still don't see it. A book we wanted is still a book we want, no matter where it was found.
Even if it had been left where you could not help but find it?
Huh? Where we... Oh, golly whiskers.
Joan, dear, we didn't find the book. It was simply handed to us.
Yes, Mother.
Then that means just one thing. The book isn't going to do us any good.
Looks like that's it. These Euclideans have figured out some way of being sure we'll stay here as long as they want us, no matter how many books we find.
That is the situation to be faced.
Oh, and I thought the little diary meant so much.
Don't look so downhearted, Pat. That diary means plenty. We're going to get off this man-made torture city someday, and when we do, we can use that information to further scientific work in the right direction back home.
That's all swell, but Joan's got the idea we're not going to get back home.
Did you hear that?
That signal gong of theirs. They're going to submerge this island or do some more of their tricks.
I think it meant more than that.
What is it?
Don't act so mysterious, Joan. We must know all that you know about this island and know it as quickly as possible if we're to have a chance to escape.
I will tell you, Mother, the instant I'm certain as to the meaning of that signal. If it was what I believe it to be, it will be repeated in 60 seconds.
Well, if that's some special signal that we don't know anything about, let's keep quiet when it starts again so Joan can tell exactly what it is.
In the meantime, let's... Oh, so they took the homing pigeons.
Yes, Captain Tex. The little pigeons are gone.
And with them went our strongest hopes for escape.
Well, I didn't think they'd let us keep them anyway.
Now, don't be too downhearted over the loss of those birds. These scientists won't hurt them any. They'll give them every care and attention because they want to study them. And the pigeons have done their work for us long ago. You all seem to forget that Johnson is on his way to the States with our possession, and he knows where to get my formula. All we have to do is to hang on until he can have that formula compounded and organize a rescue party. We can expect rescue in less than 3 weeks.
1, 2, 1. Yes, that is the signal. And the position Johnson has for this island is quite useless.
Useless? Why, Joan?
That was the signal to move the island.
You mean to submerge it?
No, I mean to move it. Move it along the floor of the ocean for 1 mile or 25 miles or 1,000 miles.
Move this island? But, gee, golly whiskers, if they can move this whole island, how will anybody find us?
That is our hopeless position, Jerry. No one will ever find us.
When the Gregory yacht left Los Angeles in search of the Magic Island and Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter, Joan, they anticipated plenty of trouble and were not long in finding it. They planned and executed one escape, only to be brought back to the strange island of Euclidia, where their position is now worse than ever, as they're confined in steel cells on one of the lower levels of this mad scientific colony. G47, master scientist and ruler of Euclidia, has just paid them a visit, not a pleasant one. Mrs. Gregory, Joan, Jerry, and Captain Bradford stand listening to a new threat. The signal to submerge the island of Euclidia is sounding, and with it, another signal which only Joan understands. Jerry, Tex, and Pat find it hard to believe Joan as she explains the second signal.
There's that blamed gong again.
The island will be moved.
You mean that, Joan? They will actually move this huge island?
Yes, Mother.
Well, golly whiskers.
That's a pretty big order, Joan. This island is 100 feet high and several hundred feet in diameter.
And it weighs more than 1 million tons. Yet it will be moved. It is moving now.
Well, how do they move it?
There are immense cantilever-activated units of the worldly articulated caterpillar type, which simply progress slowly but steadily along the ocean floor.
An island that weighs 1,000,000 tons walking around on the floor of the ocean? This is a nightmare.
Yet it's real. Horribly real. I can feel a steady vibration now. The entire place seems to be rocking gently from side to side.
That is a fair layman's description of the action.
Oh, yeah? Well, a layman's description is plenty good enough for me now. I don't need a lot of scientific languages to tell me that we're sunk.
We are not sunk, Jerry. We are submerged.
Well, sunk or submerged, we're underwater just the same, and I'll no fish.
I know how you feel, Jerry. We don't seem to be able to do very much about it. So let's try to take it as calmly as we can.
But, Tex, this means the end of everything. When the island is moved, our position is changed. No one will find us, and all of Johnson's work to bring aid will be lost.
That's about it, Pat.
Then there's nothing we can do.
Oh, Joan and I'll get you out of this. Don't worry about that.
Well, of course, we're glad to have your spirits so high, Jerry, and you have done a great deal. But do you know what you're going to do about this?
No, not yet. But I'll figure it out.
We'll all work on it, Jerry, and something surely must come out of it.
Jerry and I were fortunate in discerning certain possibilities on our tour of the island previous to our recent ill-fated escape attempt. Perhaps we could do as well if the attempt were repeated, though our activities would of necessity be directed along different lines.
She means that we can try it again, but we'll have to get a new angle.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
Got any ideas, Joan?
Nothing of value at the moment, but Jerry and I may be able to discover something. May we go and carefully observe everything in this portion of the island?
You may be running into danger, dear.
How? We're locked in this little bunch of steel rooms. How are we going to get hurt any more by looking around than we would by just standing still?
I think Jerry's right, Pat. Let them go. They did all right for us before. And if they can't get out, nothing can get in to hurt them.
Don't stay away too long, will you?
Oh, it won't take us long to look this little place over. And we'll be back as soon as we find anything that looks like news.
Do not worry, Mother. We will return soon.
That's funny.
What, Tex?
That hollow echo of their steps on the steel floor, but the echoes are gone from the rest of the room.
Why, yes, so they are. Our voices are perfectly normal.
Yet the steps continue to echo. Oh, this is certainly a weird island.
Tex, now that the children are out of hearing, what do you really think about our chances?
Not any too good, Pat.
In fact, hopeless.
No, Pat, it isn't quite that bad.
Oh, yes, it is. You might as well admit it. They've locked us in these steel apartments, in one of the lower levels, and taken our homing pigeons, without our only means of communication, and locked up in a steel room below the surface of the sea. What possible chance could we have?
We escaped before, didn't we?
Yes, from the surface of the island, with the help of our pigeons, and Johnson, and another boat.
Yes, and Johnson is still free. He must be nearly to Los Angeles by this time, and our rescue may be only a matter of days or weeks at the most.
There's no reason to try to deceive me, Tex. We're all in this together. You and Jerry are in the same hopeless position just because you wanted to help me. And even Joan is in danger because of my attempt to take her back to our world. She was comparatively happy here with these Euclideans until we came. She knew nothing of our world, and her mother was only a name to her. Now we've brought to her all the promise of the love and brightness in our world, the promise that it would one day become her world. And we can't make good on that. It's rather a miserable failure, Tex, for all of us, and it's all my fault.
Now, Pat, that's no way to talk. Look how Jerry and Joan keep their heads up. They know as much about the danger here as we do. Surely we can do as well as those kids.
Oh, Jerry's fine. He's been such a help and comfort to me. But I promised his father that I'd take care of him. Take care of him by getting him imprisoned under the sea in an artificial island, peopled by mad scientists. Why, take care of him.
Stop that. You're not going to help things by going to pieces. We'd better be putting all our energy on some plan to get out of this place.
Oh, but it's all so hopeless.
We haven't even tried to get out since they put us in these steel cells. We haven't studied the old sailor's diary.
You're right. That diary may contain something of value to us.
No doubt of that, after the old man tried so hard to get it to us.
And where is the old man now?
Where is he? Why, he's... well...
Exactly.
But we have his diary, and it's supposed to contain a detailed description of nearly everything on this island.
He couldn't use that knowledge to make his own escape.
Pat, I've never known you to act just like this. You sound so absolutely hopeless about it all.
Oh, perhaps I'm overtired. I've never felt quite this hopeless before. I'm sorry, Tex. You've been so sweet all these years. waiting for me to find Joan, waiting for me to do this and that, and now... Oh, Tex, it looks as if we've waited too long.
Oh, nonsense, Pat. Keep your chin up. We'll get out of this somehow. You've been a very wonderful person through it all. 14 years of waiting for Joan, and now you have her. It's not right that we shouldn't get back to our world to enjoy all this, and we will get back.
Mrs. Gregory?
Oh, is that Jerry?
Sounded like it.
Mother?
Yes, that was Joan.
Come here a minute.
Where are you?
Down at the end of the steel hall. Come on and take a look at what's happening here. Hurry up and come in, will you?
Coming, Jerry.
He doesn't sound as if anything serious was wrong. But it isn't. Jerry would be so impatient.
Now, Mother, you and the captain must not be too badly frightened by what Jerry and I have discovered.
We mustn't what?
You two won't get scared if we show you something, will you?
What in the world has come over you, Jerry? Captain Bradford and I are not apt to be frightened by anything you take so calmly. What is it?
It may be of great moment to all of us, and it may be a mental enlargement of a minute accidental circumstance brought about by our proximity to countless things beyond the comfortable grasp of tired minds. In either event, it will avail us nothing to give it undue consideration.
Joan means we may be making a mountain out of whatever they make mountains out of, but she's afraid it's as bad as it looks.
Well, for heaven's sakes, Joan, what is all this?
You show them, Jerry. I will watch in the corridor.
No use doing that. Everything we're saying is being heard anyhow.
I expect that's true enough, but get on with it, kid. What stirred you all up?
Well, take a look on the floor, down here in the corner of this cell.
On the floor?
Yes, and if you look close, right up against that wall, you'll see where there's a little moisture coming in. Water or something. But it isn't any accident, I'll bet. See how steady it drops through that fine hole? Just as if the hole had been drilled there to let the water in.
Yes, I see it now.
But what could it mean?
It could mean a great many things, most of which I'd just as soon not think of now.
Well, I got an idea what it is. And that's the reason Joan and I didn't want to tell you about it at first.
If it's anything that important, we should know about it at once.
I'll say so. Come on, let's have it, Jerry, and hurry it up.
Well, Joan says that she heard some funny stories about people who had been put in these lower-level cells. Stories about water running into the place in a stream like this one, no bigger than a pinhole. And maybe it takes weeks or months or maybe a year. But finally the water gets so deep in here that you have to stand up to keep your head above it. And when you can't stand it anymore, you tell those crazy Euclideans whatever it is they want to know.
But, Jerry, you say Joan spoke of others who had been put down in here, and these rooms slowly flooded? Who were they?
There is no longer any need to worry about our conversation. You will note that our voices no longer echo. That would mean that the directional rays are focused upon our chambers, and everything we say or do will be heard and seen in the central communication chamber.
Well, as long as we can speak right out in meeting, I'd like to know a whole lot more about this water running in here on the floor.
You've heard something of it, Joan?
I have heard many discussions between G47 and his assistants relative to the prisoners in these cells. All of them were people of importance in the scientific world, or high officers in the armies and navies of countries of the orderly world. All of them had some secret that the Euclideans wanted to learn. And when this water would rise to the level of the prisoner's mouth, they would learn what they desired.
They wouldn't have to wait that long for me.
Joan, my dear, do you think we are being subjected to that punishment now in order to secure the captain's formula for the Euclideans?
I'm sure of it, Mother. We will never be allowed to leave these rooms until G47 knows all there is to be known of the universal solvent.
About how long will it take to fill this room, Joe?
That I do not know, Captain. But it will take only a few hours for the water to lie on the floor to the depth of an inch in this room, and closing the room off will do no good, as the water will simply pass into the next room when it reaches the depth of 1 inch.
Oh, the sensible thing to do would be to give up my formula right now and take our chances on what they would do with us after that.
It might be just as well, Captain.
No, don't you do it, Tex. We've still got plenty of time to figure some way out of this.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Jerry, though I must admit I haven't the faintest idea as to how to go about it.
But, Pat, you're all in danger.
Well, not as great danger as we would be once these Euclideans had taken all they wanted from us.
You're right, Mrs. Gregory. That formula is all they're saving us for, and let's hang on to it as long as we can.
Somebody knocking on the hall door.
That is strange. The Euclideans do not knock.
But no one except the Euclideans would have the freedom of these chambers.
You three stay where you are. I'll find out.
Oh, be careful, Tex.
Don't worry. I'll watch everything.
Something funny going on here. Notice how quickly the captain's steps stop making any noise?
No one on Euclidia ever knocks at a door. I do not like this.
Oh, you children are overly excited.
Well, maybe. But just the same. Hey, Tex! Tex! Captain Bradford!
Jerry, Tex doesn't answer. Do you think that...
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
The essential character of any frontier you explore is that if you get into it and stick your neck out, you get it lopped off, and there's no help. The frontier is the place where there isn't any reserve, where there isn't anyone to help you if you get into trouble. There is no support. Tonight's story is a story of a true frontier. You know, sometimes the frontier lies just the other side of a doorway. It doesn't seem very different. It can be the difference between life and sudden death. We are in a somewhat different position. We can summon support here. I can push my little push button here and summon our supporters. You know, when we think of that glamorous future, we sometimes tend to forget that things cost money now and things will cost in the future. Let's suppose that there are ships and they are going out between the worlds. They carry emergency supplies for expeditions that may be in trouble on some of the planets that are being explored. But they can't carry an extra lot of them. It costs too much. They carry parachutes, in effect, to drop them as they flash by the world that's in trouble. Little parachutes for space, a plastic bubble with a tiny motor, just enough to lower it down to the planet without destruction. They'd probably use human pilots to do it, too. Because, you know, a human brain is the lightest of all computing devices. It's lighter than an electronic computer. It would be cheaper and wiser to use human pilots to drop these little plastic bubble parachutes of space to a planet in trouble. Let's consider one where there's an expedition that's gotten into medical trouble. The men are sick and they need a serum that they don't have. They've called for help from one of the passing interstellar liners. The liner has stopped for a moment, dropped one of its little space parachutes, and gone on its way, flashing on to some other star somewhere else. And that emergency dispatch ship, that little space parachute, the pilot discovers...
Somebody who shouldn't be there is in that supplies closet. The gauge is never wrong. It says there's a living human body inside that closet radiating heat.
Come on out, chum. Open that door, I'll open it. Come on out. Oh, no.
All right. I give up. Now what?
Sit down.
All right. Well, you still haven't told me. I mean, what happens now? Do I pay a fine or something?
What are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to see my brother, that's all.
Your brother?
Mm-hmm. He's on Woden. He's with Group 2.
Oh.
I haven't seen him for 10 years, ever since he went there.
What's his name?
Cross. Jerry Cross. Do you know him?
Only his name. I've never met him.
Oh, I was only 8 years old when he left.
What was your original destination aboard the Stardust?
Mimir. I had a job to go to.
You knew you were breaking a rule when you stowed away on this ship?
Oh, I knew I was breaking some kind of regulation.
Is that all it means to you?
Well, I'm
There was a sign posted there. Didn't you see it?
A sign?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the one that said unauthorized personnel keep out?
That's the one.
Oh, well, I guess I saw it.
And ignored it.
Oh, come on. Now, look, don't be so grim.
How did you manage to stow away?
Oh, it was easy. I just saw my chance and acted on impulse. I saw there was plenty of room in that closet, and so here I am.
Yeah, here you are.
Oh, please, don't worry. I'll be a model criminal or prisoner or whatever it is I am now. And I'll pay for my keep, too. And when we get to Woden, well, I'll make myself useful.
Quiet.
Sorry.
You have an identification disc?
Yes?
Give it to me.
Well, my name is Marilyn. Marilyn.
Let me have the disc.
Okay. Will I get it back?
No.
Oh, but
I'm sorry, I need the information on it. I have to put it all in my report.
But when you've got all the information, surely I'll get it back. I need it.
Do you know why I'm flying this ship to Woden?
No.
No idea?
Well, I know the Stardust got a message. I suppose you're taking extra equipment.
I'm taking serum.
Oh.
If I don't get that serum to Woden, 6 men are going to die.
My brother, too?
Not if he's with Group 2. He's 28,000 miles away from all this. On the opposite side of the planet.
Opposite side? Well, then how will I get to see him?
You're not going there. I'm sorry.
Look, I don't understand. You are going to Woden.
Yes,
well, then if...
but you're not. You're going to leave this ship.
You mean I won't get to see Jerry?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, please.
I told you I'm sorry.
Well, what are you going to do, radio some other ship to have me take him back?
There are no other ships to radio.
Well, then...
Don't you understand?
No.
You can't stay aboard this ship.
What am I supposed to do? Jump overboard out into space?
You won't have to jump.
What?
You'll be jettisoned. You won't feel a thing. Sometimes the universe seems cruel. I think that's a mistake. It isn't cruel, but it is ruthless. You must learn the lessons. And once you've learned them, you're all right. Unless you forget them. I'm afraid that girl forgot that there were frontiers. That there were places where there was no help.
You are joking.
These are not things you joke about.
No, you can't mean all this.
There is nothing anyone can do for you.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I just can't believe you're really serious. But you are. You do mean that you're going to make me die.
It's the way it has to be.
No.
No human being in the universe can help you.
Please, oh, please.
Nobody wants it this way. Nobody would ever let it be this way if it were humanly possible to change it.
I can't believe it.
I told you, this ship is carrying fever serum to 6 men on Woden. All 6 will die unless I get there.
I know you told me.
A small ship like this one is provided with barely enough fuel to get to its destination. If you stay aboard, your added weight, once we hit gravity, will cause it to use up all its fuel before we land. That means, in simple terms, you and I will die and 6 other men will die waiting for the serum.
Is that it?
That's it.
Just that? We don't have enough fuel?
Yeah.
Shall I just die alone or take 7 other men with me?
That's how it stacks up.
And nobody really wants me to die?
Nobody does.
Well, maybe... I mean, are you sure nothing...
Nothing can be done for you.
I just can't believe this is real. Less than an hour ago, I was a passenger on the Stardust. Now I'm on this ship, and I'm going to die, and nobody cares.
That's not true. We all care. It's different out here. It's not like being back on Earth.
I'll never see Mom and Daddy again. I'll never see Jared. I'll never see anything again.
Hasn't your brother ever written to you?
Yes.
What did he talk about?
Things? I mean, well, all the things he was doing and how much he wanted to see us all again.
Didn't he ever tell you about frontier law?
What?
Look, out here we live by a different set of values.
I don't know anything about frontier law.
You ignored a warning. Out here you can only make that mistake just once. Oh, a lot of mistakes have been made, and a lot of men have died making them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about frontiers. I don't know about fuel or what was going to happen to me. I don't want to die. Why should I have to die? Just because I wanted to see my brother.
What's the use of trying to make her understand? What do I do? Quote the Regulation Tour, Paragraph L, Section 8, Interstellar Regulations, quote, any stowaway discovered aboard an emergency dispatch ship will be immediately upon discovery jettisoned into space, period, end quote. And what good would it do to her anyway? Okay, so H amount of fuel will not power an EDS with a massive M+X safely to its destination. How could she understand that? Look at her. 18 years old, brown curly hair, blue eyes, weight 110 pounds. And to me, she's just the unwanted factor in a very cold equation.
Crying won't help, will it? I mean, you're going to radio my brother.
If you want me to.
What will you tell him?
Nothing. I'll let you tell him.
Oh. I'm almost afraid to hear his voice. You'll make him sound so near to me. And all the time he'll be so far away. Just a voice. That's all he'll be, just a voice.
I'll call him anyway. All right.
Yes.
Warden, EDS 34G11, emergency. Come in, Woden. Group 2, identify yourselves, please. This is a call for Jerry Cross. Please come in.
Jerry? Jerry, where are you? Jerry, why didn't you answer? Jerry, they're going to let me die.
Keep quiet. They're coming on now. Whatever happens, a man will always try to find some way out, even when he knows it's impossible. He'll still make a try. But sometimes, particularly on the frontiers, you're up against the problem that there isn't any way out. You're up against it.
Wait, I didn't hear.
He said, goodbye, little sister.
Oh. I had so much more to talk about.
He knew that.
Was it really him?
It was your brother.
His voice sounded changed.
10 years ago, he was a little more than a boy. Now he's a man. Voice has changed.
Did I sound frightened when I talked to him?
No, you sounded fine.
Oh. How long do I have?
Oh, a little while.
What'll happen to me afterwards, I mean?
Nothing, I guess.
I'll just go on floating in space, is that it?
Something like that.
May I see?
See what?
Out there. Can I see it on the view screen?
Yeah, sure. There.
Well, there's nothing there. There's nothing at all. Well, there's some stars over there. I didn't see them. I was thinking of Mom and Daddy. They don't even know yet I'll never be going back to them, like I promised I would. It's funny, the things you remember. Like the time when I was only 6 years old, and my kitten got run over in the street. And the way Jerry held me in his arms and told me not to cry. And when I woke up in the morning, there she was on my bed, with a brand new white fur coat. Just like Jerry had promised. It was a long time after that when Mama told me Jerry had gone to the pet shop at 4 a.m. He got the man out of bed and told him if he didn't produce a white kitten, somebody's neck was going to be broken. So the man found a white kitten for me.
You'll be gone soon. The little hand on that gauge will go back to zero and the equation will be balanced again.
Is it time yet?
What?
Is it time yet?
Time?
For me.
Almost.
How will it happen?
You'll go into that compartment. It's an airlock, and that's about all.
Oh, no, it can't be all. You'll do something.
I'll simply push a button.
And I'll be shot out into space.
I told you, you won't feel anything.
Yes, you told me that. I'm very grateful.
You're all right?
I keep thinking everybody has to die sooner or later. It's no worse for me than anyone else, is it? Except most people don't know when it's going to happen, and I do.
You understand I have no power to help you. No power anywhere could help you out here.
All right.
If there was just one... But there isn't.
I know. Jerry understood that.
Yeah.
Your brother's quite a guy.
He said everything will be all right. It will, won't it?
Everything, yes.
All right, I'm ready. Tell me what to do.
When I pull this lever, that door will open. Just walk into the chamber.
Please hurry up. Do I walk in now?
Yeah.
It's cold in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It doesn't really matter. Goodbye. You've been awfully kind.
Goodbye, honey.
Please close the door.
Marilyn,
Yes?
there's no hatred, no malice in what I have to do.
I know.
Bye now. EDS 34G11, calling Group 1 on Planet Woden. Come in, please. I'm landing in just 10 minutes.
We have to learn in this world of ours. And some of the things that we learn make us feel that we're real tough and real strong, and boy, we can take it. Next time, we've got a story about a kid who was sure he was tough, a real tough guy, until he ran up against some people who were in the business of learning things. Sometimes you have to find out such things as whether a man's eyeballs fall out when he's decelerated too suddenly. These men aren't tough. They're just curious.
Join us again next week on both Wednesday and Friday nights when John Campbell returns with more of his fascinating talk and stories while exploring tomorrow. Tonight you heard Mason Adams and Joyce Gordon in our cast. Script was by John Fleming, from a story written by Tom Godwin. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman! Sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. Kent and Jimmy are now on a cruise around the world on the Clara M, last of the clipper ships. Just as soon as the vessel got underway, strange things began to happen on board. In our last episode, we heard Teak Barnaby, mysterious peg-leg first mate, relate the tale of the Whistler, the spirit of a whistling seaman lost overboard many years ago, who was said to return to the Clara M and whistle as a warning of impending trouble. Just as Barnaby finished his story, an eerie whistle was heard. Shortly afterward, Captain Hawkins was lost overboard, but fortunately was rescued by Superman. As we join them now, Kent is busy banging out a story while seated on the deck of the Clara M, southbound for Panama. Listen.
And who can say that we did not hear the Whistler? Certainly it was not imagination on our part. His strange whistle came to us on deck and then receded from us. I wonder, shall we hear it again? Whether we do or not, no doubt exists that there are many adventures in store for us on our trip around...
Ahoy, mate.
Huh? Oh, hello, Jimmy. Just banging out the last few lines of my first article for the Daily Planet.
You sure ought to have enough to say in it.
Boy, the things that have been happening aboard this ship.
Well, I've had to play some of it down, such as the captain falling overboard.
Play it down?
Mm-hmm.
What for?
Well, in the first place, just wouldn't do to say the captain had fallen overboard because that never happens. In the second place, he didn't fall.
Oh, but he did, Mr. Kent.
Now, Jimmy, the captain didn't just fall. He was pushed or thrown overboard.
But he himself said that.
I know. That's what bothers me. Something strange about Captain Hawkins, Jim. Matter of fact, there seems to be something strange about practically everything aboard this ship.
Oh, you mean the Whistler, huh?
Well, that's one of them. It said in my article here that it might have been our imagination playing tricks, but we both know, Jim, that we did hear that whistle last night.
Oh, we sure did. Gosh, I've never heard anything so ghostly and eerie.
It was all of that. Just remember one thing, Jim. There are no such things as ghosts.
Yeah, I know, but... Boy, if Superman were with us on this trip, he'd solve this mystery of the Whistler in no time.
You still believe that Superman fairy tale?
Gosh, there you go again, Mr. Kent. I tell you, Superman
All right,
does...
Jim, all right. We won't argue about it. Finish your lessons for today?
Yes, sir. I solved those algebra equations you gave me and finished my English lesson.
Good.
I wrote a composition about Teak Barnaby.
Oh, character sketch of the first mate, eh? What did you say about it?
Well, I just put down exactly what I think about him. I said he was a fierce-looking man with a wooden leg and that he looked like he'd make a swell pirate. That he was a swell guy.
Easy there, Jimmy. You're overworking that word, swell. It's slang, you know, and you mustn't use it too much.
Gee, that's right. I'll watch it, Mr. Kent.
Good. Oh, say, there's Captain Hawkins up ahead with the helmsman. Let's go have a word or two with him, huh?
Sure. Say, do you still think it was kind of queer of Teak Barnaby signing on the way he did?
Something funny about that whole setup, Jimmy. Don't forget, Captain Hawkins had spent days trying to get a crew. No one would sign on. Then suddenly, within an hour, Teak Barnaby signs on, and with him an entire crew.
It does seem kind of funny. I like him and all, and yet sometimes I get a feeling when he's looking at me with those burning eyes of his that... Well, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Hello there, Mr. Kent. Jimmy.
Hi there, Captain. Beautiful day.
Aye, perfect sailing weather. And the old Clara M hasn't lost any of her spark. She answers to your hand like a raisin shell. And Jim, lad, can you box the compass for me?
Oh, gosh, not yet, Captain Hawkins. I had a lot of other studying to do this morning, but I'll get to it this afternoon.
Have you seen Mr. Barnaby about?
Aye, Mr. Kent, I have. He's aloft in the crow's nest.
Oh. Aloft? How on earth did he get there?
If it's his wooden leg you're thinking of, forget it. It doesn't bother him a bit. Teak Barnaby is as much at home in the rigging as he is on deck. Hey, look, laddie, how would you like to take the wheel?
Me?
Aye.
Oh, gosh.
Helmsman, let the lad take over.
Captain, are you sure it'll be all right?
Aye, she handles like a baby, Mr. Kent. Nothing to fear. Keep both hands on the wheel now, Jim, lad.
Gosh. What? She's alive. I can feel the whole ship pulsing and pulling.
Aye, lad. You've got to take the wheel to know your vessel. Easy there, lad. Easy, steady she goes.
Gosh. Sail up there started to flap something off.
You've got to keep the wind abaft the beam, lad.
Oh, yes, sir. Aye, sir. That is...
Before you let Jim do any real steering, Captain, you better explain most of these nautical expressions to us.
Aye, if we're not careful...
Look out! Quick, man!
Quick, Hart.
What happened?
That belaying pin came down from aloft. Struck the deck where I'd been standing. Mr. Kent, if you hadn't pulled me out of the way, I'd be a dead man. Aloft there, you blasted benighted son of a Christian! Aloft! That's you, Mr. Barnaby! On deck, you... Oh, if only the lad wasn't here so I could express myself.
Here comes Mr. Barnaby now. Gosh, look at him slide down that rope.
Sheet, lad, sheet, not rope. And mind your helm. Support, support.
I don't know what to...
Helmsman, take over.
All right, lad, I've got it.
Well, mister, what have you to say for yourself?
Beg your pardon, Captain. I don't think you mean it.
You know what I mean right enough, Mr. Barnaby. That belaying pin fell from aloft. It would have killed me if Mr. Kent here hadn't pulled me out of the way. Oh, how he saw it coming as
belaying pin?
Aye.
Fell from aloft, eh? Well, now let me see. Well, blast my eyes if it ain't gone.
Gone? What's gone, Mr. Barnaby?
Why, sir, I stuck a belaying pin in my belt before going aloft, and it ain't there now. Must have fallen out.
Such carelessness is inexcusable, man. I'll not have it aboard my ship. You understand?
Aye, sir. Blast my eyes, I can't fathom it. I've never dropped a belaying pin before.
Be careful you don't again.
Huh? Oh. Aye, sir.
I want the foretop and the staysail dropped. Lay forward to the men, Mr. Barnaby.
Aye, sir, aye. Way, ship! Way!
Well, I can't thank you enough for saving my life, Mr. Kent. I must say you were on the alert.
Yes, Captain. Something we'd all better learn to do aboard this ship.
Well, mister, what have you to say for yourself?
What have you to say for yourself? Captain? Something we'd all better learn to do aboard this ship. Yes, Captain. Something we'd all better learn to do aboard this ship.
Well, I must say you were on the alert.
answers to those algebra equations are perfect, Jim. Now suppose we examine you on English history.
All set.
We'll do this quickly. It's almost time you were in bed.
Yeah. I sure am sleepy. Must be the salt air or something.
Probably. All right, now English history. What does 1066 mean to you?
Oh, gosh, that's easy. In 1066, Edward the Confessor died and Harold was chosen king. During that same year, Harold defeated the King of Norway at Stamford Bridge. Then later, William, the Duke of Normandy, defeated Harold near Hastings. And that's really the most important thing that happened in 1066 because it marked the beginning of the Norman conquest of England.
That's fine, Jimmy. Now, tomorrow I want you to read the next chapter, which takes up the completion of the Norman conquest.
Okay, but right now, Mr. Kent, if you don't mind, I'm going to hop into bed. I'm kind of tired.
All right, Jimmy. I'm going to step out on deck for a breath of air before I turn in.
Uh-huh. Well, good night.
Good night, Jim. The air's good. Beautiful night. I'll just take a walk about deck. 4 bells. 10 o'clock. Funny, I can't get that incident of this afternoon out of my mind. Doesn't make sense. Barnaby letting a belaying pin fall like that and then pretending he didn't know it had fallen. Hello. Sounds like Barnaby now. Talking to someone in the shadow of the poop deck. I don't think it would hurt to find out what he's saying. I'll just slip along quiet.
You're told, Limey. That understood? You'll do as you're told.
I'm telling you, I heard the finest day it was. A ghastly whistle if ever I heard one. It took me to come on aboard this ship, though. For chance, what can you ought to get over to help me?
Mention that name of Bones again, and I'll break your neck. My name's Barnaby aboard the ship. Keep Barnaby, and don't you forget it.
Barnaby or Bound is all one with me. As long as I get off this tub.
Blast my eyes, Limey, I've a good mind to... Now, you listen. I'm paying you and every man jack aboard a good price for what you're doing. And I'll not have you spilling your mouth about ghosts and such things. You'd best take care, Limey, or it'll go hard with you.
Oh, with Barnaby to swallow this ship in the twist point.
You're on now, and you'll do as I say. I'll get below.
Let me take your gun.
Below.
Aye.
Spoil my plan, will you? Not while I'm alive and kicking. Oh. That you, Mr. Kent?
Yes, Barnaby. Good evening.
Taking the air, are you? Before turning in?
Yes.
Well, good night to you, sir.
Good night, Barnaby. Good night.
Oh, 1066, William the Conqueror, Battle of... Oh, gosh. I've been trying to get to sleep ever since Mr. Kent left the cabin over an hour ago. Thought I was sleepy, too. All those dates of English history keep running through my mind. Gee, kind of mysterious lying here in this cabin with the creaking. What? That sounded like... It is. The Whistler. Now it's moving off down the deck. Gosh, I'm scared. But I can't let that stop me. Got to investigate. Got to find out whether the Whistler is human or whether it's ghost. Yeah. Got to pull myself together and follow that whistle.
Well, the plot certainly thickens. What will happen to Jimmy as he follows the Whistler? Will he solve the mystery? And what was the meaning of the conversation between Barnaby and Limey? Be sure to hear the next thrilling episode of our mystery story with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman!
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper.
Taking a round-the-world cruise on the Clara M, last of the old clipper ships, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen have met with some very baffling adventures. In our last episode, we overheard with Kent a strange conversation between Keith Barnaby, the peg-legged first mate, and one of the crew. A conversation which told us that the crew were working for Barnaby and not for Captain Hawkins. Our episode ended, Jimmy Olsen, lying on the bed in his cabin, was trying unsuccessfully to go to sleep when... But wait. Listen.
1066, William the Conqueror. Doggone it, all those dates of English history keep running through my mind. Battle of Hastings. Oh, gosh. Sure is kind of mysterious lying here in this cabin with the creaking and the... What? It sounded like... It is. It's the whistler. Now it's moving off down the deck. Gosh, I'm scared. But I can't let that stop me. We've got to find out who that whistler is, that's all. Got to prove it isn't the spirit of a whistling seaman who was washed overboard years ago, like Teak Barnaby says. Yeah. I got to pull myself together and follow that whistle. Whistler's moving up forward. Gosh, it's kind of eerie out here. Maybe I better go get Mr. Kent. But if I do that, the whistle may stop the way it did the first time we heard it. Better... Wait. There's somebody climbing up into the rigging. You! Stop! Stop where you are! Wherever he is, he's right up there above me. Well, I can't climb any further than the top of the mast, so I'm going to climb up there after him. Gosh, it's harder than I thought. The rigging seemed like it was alive. Oh, I almost slipped in. That shadowy figure. He's right above me. It seems to have stopped. It's not going any higher. Hey! Aloft there! Come on down! You're caught and you can't get away! It's right above me now. It's so dark there I can't see him. Just a second. Oh! My hand! Hey, stop it! You're stepping on my hands! I said stop it! I can't hold on! You hear? I'll fall! Stop! I'm falling! Oh!
I've got you. Hold tight. You're safe now. You're safe.
Superman. Oh.
Good thing I was walking about the deck and heard him calling. Oh, what on earth he was doing up in the rigging. I'd better get him down on deck again. Now. Down! Kid's fainted. Better get him back to the cabin as Clark Kent.
Oh, there. What is it?
This way, Barnaby. Something's happened to Jimmy.
Oh, bless my eyes. The lad. Why, what is it?
I don't know. I found him lying on the deck here as I came around.
He's out colder than a mackerel. Better take him below.
No, his cabin will do.
I'll carry him. You lead the way, Mr. Kent.
All right.
There. Got you, lad.
Can't imagine what could have happened to him.
Oh, we'll know as soon as he comes around.
Here's the cabin.
Yeah.
Put him on the bed there. I'll get some water.
Well, look at his hands. They're bruised. Skin's broken in places, too.
Yeah, looks as if they've been stepped on. That's funny.
The whistler. Gotta follow. Gotta find out.
The whistler? Blast my eyes, Mr. Kent. I do believe
All right,
it.
now, Jim, snap out of it. Come on, now.
Oh. It's you, Mr. Kent. Oh.
What happened to you, lad? Who done this to you?
The whistler. I was trying to go to sleep when I heard him whistling outside my cabin. I followed him. I saw somebody go up into the rigging. When I got close to him, he stepped on my hands. I had to let go.
What? You mean you fell from the rigging onto the deck? We'd best call the captain to look him over, Mr. Kent. If any bones is broken...
No, I didn't hit the deck. Superman caught me as I was falling.
Superman? And who might he be?
Well, I'm afraid he's pretty much a character in Jimmy's imagination, Barnaby.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, you've got to believe me. He came flying through the air as I was falling and...
Oh, easy does it, matey. I've heard many a wild sailor's yarn, but these fates them all. A man that can fly, eh? Why, lad, you've been dreaming.
I'm telling the truth. How did my hands get this way, then, if they weren't stepped on? How'd I get down onto the deck without being hurt?
The lad's got something there, Mr. Kent. I'd best look to the rigging and see if there's anyone up there.
No, you stay here. I'll go.
Hey, Mr. Kent, however you'll have it.
I'll be back in a while.
Mr. Kent, that you?
Yes, Captain.
I just heard about the lad and was coming to see what it's all about.
Well, we found him lying on deck, unconscious. He thought he heard the whistler and followed him up into the rigging. I've just come out to investigate.
The whistler, eh?
Uh-huh.
It's beyond me. The lad's either having dreams...
He wasn't dreaming, Captain, and you know it.
What's that?
Something very strange going on aboard this ship, Captain. And if you're not aware of it, you're not the man I think you are.
I don't like your tone, Mr. Kent. I'm master of this vessel, and
I
I
meant
won't
no
stand...
disrespect to your office, Captain. But it seems to me you're deliberately closing your eyes to a number of things that have happened on board.
What things, Mr. Kent? What things?
The whistler, for one. When Barnaby told us that legend last night about the spirit of a whistling sailorman haunting this ship, you tried to laugh it off. And then we heard the whistler. We didn't imagine it, Captain. We heard it. You and Barnaby and Jimmy and myself.
I no denying that.
Yeah, but you do deny that following that you were either pushed or thrown overboard. That you'd be dead now if I... Well, that is...
If what, Mr. Kent?
Well, if somebody hadn't miraculously saved you.
You say I was pushed overboard, Mr. Kent. I say I fell.
We won't argue it, Captain. Well, I can't pick out anyone or anything up in the rigging there. Whoever it was has had time to make a getaway.
Whoever it was is still aboard this ship, Mr. Kent. I'll have the Clara M searched from stem to stern.
Good idea, Captain. If you find out anything, I'll be in Jimmy's cabin.
Aye, right.
Wish I knew what's in that man's mind. Well, I'll get on into the cabin and see how Jimmy's doing.
There, lad, was a murderous shark coming for the native boy. I saw the monster turn, billing upwards. Saw his great mouth reaching for the boy. And 'twas then I went into action.
What's going on here?
Oh, gosh, Mr. Kent, don't interrupt. Go on, Mr. Barnaby.
Well, I dove off the side of that pearl fisher. In my hand was a knife, which I always carried with me. I struck for the shark's belly, but he turned too quick, and the knife went into his back, up to the hilt. Then he dove, and I went with it, holding on to that knife handle. Blast my eyes, I was underwater a full 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Hey, lad, 5 minutes.
Gee.
Well, I finally got the knife out of his back, and I struck for his belly again. But this time, he was too quick for me. He luffed to windward and took my leg off clean as a whistle.
Gosh. Well, what happened then?
Well, I don't rightly remember, lad. Next thing I knew, I was lying on the deck of the pearl fisher.
Oh, but how'd you get there?
Well, lad, it was often I puzzled my head about that, but never could figure it out. However, the answer was made clear to me this very night. I must have been saved by Superman.
Quite a story, Pete.
I thought you were telling me the real story of how you lost your leg. Well, okay. Both of you can kid all you want to about Superman, but I know he exists. That's all that matters to me.
Find anyone in the rigging, Mr. Kent?
No, whoever it was had had ample time to get away. The captain's having the ship searched thoroughly.
Yeah, good idea.
Now, Jimmy, try to go to sleep, will you? And if you hear the whistler again, I'd suggest you call me before doing anything about it.
Don't worry, I will.
All right, good night. Coming, Barnaby? I'll walk with you as far as my cabin.
Hey, night, lad.
Was that really the way you lost your leg, Mr. Barnaby? A shark, I mean?
No, lad, wasn't no shark. I'll tell you the real story someday. Good night, dear.
Good night.
I wouldn't fill Jimmy's head with too many stories, Barnaby.
No fear, Mr. Kent. So does the boy no harm?
No, I suppose not.
Well, what do you make of this, Superman business? The lad's no broken bones, and if he fell from the rigging...
No, I can't account for it. But he may not have fallen as far as he thought.
Eh? Well, I'll leave you here. I'm going below.
Good night, Barnaby.
All right.
Well, I guess I'd better turn in myself. Oh, wait a minute. Now, that's odd. I wonder... I better have a talk with the man at the wheel. Good evening.
Evening, sir.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
Hey, sir.
What's our course?
By east, sir.
South by east?
Aye, sir.
You're off your course, then, helmsman.
What?
According to the position of the North Star, you're steering south by west.
I can't be, sir.
Well, look at it.
I got it, sir. You're right. How could I do a thing like that?
That's what I was wondering. Better put her over.
Aye, sir, at once. And thank you, sir. Meant my life if the captain had found me. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night, sir.
That man's either a fool or he was deliberately off his course. And I don't think he's a fool.
Is Kent right? Was the helmsman deliberately off his course? And if so, why? And what is the answer to the mystery of the Whistler? What strange adventures await our friends aboard the Clara M? Be sure to hear the next thrilling episode of our story with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise ship. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. At Space Academy, the bright sun glints along the polished metal of a rocket cruiser's hull. This is the Polaris, ready to blast off from the spaceport into the outer reaches of the universe. But on this fine day, aboard their proud and eager ship, the Space Cadet crew, for once, shows no desire to leave. On the power deck, good-natured Astro scowls as he makes a final check of his equipment. And glaring through the viewport, Roger Manning complains bitterly to Tom Corbett.
I tell you, Junior, this is the limit. They can't do this to us.
That's what the man said as he picked himself up from the floor. But since the professor will be along any minute, Roger, you might as well stop blowing your...
Space dust. What are we, taxi drivers for any old fossil who wants to poke around on Titan?
Stow it. We don't any of us like this mission. But you can't expect hot assignments all the time.
Why not, Tom? We're the best unit in the academy.
Says you.
Says Commander Arkwright, even.
You seem to be a little feverish, Roger, or is your memory slipping?
You mean when he fuses our jets? That's just math. He knows we're good.
Well, maybe he thinks this will be a nice rest.
Rest. A straight run to Titan and then waiting hand and foot on some old goat of a scientist.
Hello, boys.
Oh, morning, sir.
Why, I'm your passenger. The old goat of a scientist.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you aboard, sir.
Thank you, Cadet Corbett. And I'm sure that goes for Roger Manning, too.
Well, I guess you aren't, sir. An old goat, I mean.
Thank you, Cadet Manning.
You seem to know us, sir.
I know quite a lot about the whole Polaris unit. You see, I'm not a scientist either.
Wait a minute. Our passenger's supposed to be...
Whatever you were expecting, I'm your passenger.
Maybe you'd better explain, sir.
I will. But first, are we ready to blast off?
Blast off time set for 0800. It's 3 minutes to, and we're ready.
No last-minute trips outside? No girls you have to kiss goodbye, Manning?
He really does know about you, Roger.
Yeah, well, I want to know more about him.
Right. Here are my credentials, Corbett.
Oh, thanks. Great Jupiter. Take a look at these, Roger.
Colonel Raymond Cowan, Solar Guard Intelligence Service. But, sir, you're not in uniform.
In my line of work, we usually prefer not to be recognized. That's the reason for all this hocus-pocus about a professor on a field trip to Titan.
Oh, then this is really going to be an intelligence mission.
In a way.
Well, that's better. What goes on Titan, sir?
Nothing that I know of.
But then why...
You see, you weren't told the correct destination either. We'll head in that general direction. But we're concerned with another moon of Saturn, Rhea.
Rhea, hey.
You've heard of it, I imagine.
Well, everybody has, Colonel. The papers and magazines have been full of stories about it recently.
Sure, ever since they developed that, what do you call it? You know, the stuff that knocks out virus diseases.
The viricide, F3, yes.
Out of strange little crystal plants that are entirely unlike anything we've known, they've created the greatest miracle in medical history. If they can only make enough of it.
Sounds as if you're pretty interested in it, sir.
I am, but everyone should be. Think of it. Diseases that men have been trying to conquer for thousands of years. Some of the worst cripplers and killers can now be licked.
No wonder they're starting to call Rhea the satellite of life.
That's what it is. But our job is to keep it from becoming a satellite of death.
What?
So you see, this isn't going to be such a dull assignment, cadets. All right, prepare to blast off.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, if you want to blast through tomorrow at full space speed, then listen. Tomorrow morning, when Reveille sounds, hop up and jump out of bed. Well, maybe jump is the wrong word. Anyhow, get out of bed and dress yourself. Next, wash yourself slowly and carefully. Well, at least wash yourself and brush your teeth. Okay, you'll pass inspection. Now, you're ready to enjoy the Spaceman's Breakfast, Kellogg's Pep. Wait, Spaceman, Kellogg's Pep deserves a bigger fanfare than that. Remember, Pep is the build-up wheat cereal with a wonderful flavor. Well, that's more like it. Lots of energy there. And that's just what you get when you eat Kellogg's Pep. Lots of food energy. Eat Pep, and you get the food power necessary to travel at full space speed. Pep supplies you with important vitamins that help build strong bones, tough muscles, and healthy teeth. But, Spaceman, that's not all. When you eat Pep, you enjoy its wonderful, rich malt flavor. Yes, that's what you'll say when you dig into a heaping bowl full of delicious Kellogg's Pep. So, Spaceman, start off tomorrow the Spaceman's way with Kellogg's Pep. That's P-E-P. Pep. Kellogg's Pep.
The Space Cadets ordered to fly a scientist to Titan, largest moon of the planet Saturn, are disgusted with such a dull assignment. But their passenger turns out to be Colonel Cowan of Solar Guard Intelligence. And their real destination, Rhea, another Saturnian moon which has become known as the satellite of life. Now, far out in space, Tom and Roger, having set the Polaris on course for Rhea, turn again to the Colonel.
So what's the story on Rhea, sir?
Well, for some time, we've been after a well-organized, completely ruthless space gang. They've been looting ships, raiding settlements, getting away with murder, literally.
Can a gang like that be tracked down?
We've made a start, but most of our leads have taken us just exactly nowhere.
Well, what's the idea of the flight we're on?
One tip we received is that Rhea is the gang's next objective. Since I have a special interest, I was assigned to check.
Why should a gang like that be interested in Rhea?
Viricide F3, Corbett. The power of life or death over many thousands of people.
I can see it'd be quite a black market item, Colonel.
Oh, they could make a fortune, all right. But it's more than that, boys. There's a leading member of the Solar Council who's doomed without that medicine. One of our planetary governors has a daughter who's very sick indeed. F3 will save her life.
I don't get it. I think I do, sir. You mean they could use this medicine to exert pressure on important people?
Exactly. The men who control F3 can get almost anything they want from almost anybody.
But who's going to help a gang like that?
Not helping could mean death. For themselves or for someone they love.
Well, even so, sir.
Manning.
Yes, sir?
My wife is one of those who needs that medicine.
I'm sorry.
And if it came to saving her life, I don't know how far I'd go, even with a gang of killers.
Of course, Colonel.
I see you're beginning to understand.
I can see that it'd all be true if they could monopolize Viricide F3.
Well, the last shipment left Rhea 6 weeks ago. A shipment of less than 30 pounds. And while in space, the ship blew up.
The gang did it?
Most likely, though we don't know. But consider this. A raid on Rhea now would give them all the F3 that's been manufactured in the last 3 months.
Yes, and suppose they blasted the processing plants and the scientists in charge.
It'd take us a year to get into production again. And in the meantime, the gang would have the only supply of F3 in the entire universe.
That certainly puts it right up to us, sir. If the tip about Rhea is true.
Don't worry, Colonel. We'll blast those crooks right out of space.
I know you will. That's why I asked for the Polaris unit.
Better not tell Astro that. His head will swell up till it won't fit into his space helmet.
Say, I forgot about Astro. There's no reason for him to stay on the power deck now.
Well, give him a call on the intercom.
Sure. Control the power deck. Come in, Astro. Astro, check in, will you?
What's the matter with that Venusian ape?
Could anything be wrong?
Nah, he's probably on his way up now. See, here he is now. Hey, Bubblehead. Great galaxy.
That's not Astro.
You're right, it isn't. So don't anybody move.
He's got a parallel ray gun.
So have I.
Corbett?
Colonel Cowan.
Skip it. He's frozen. Sucker. Trying to draw on a guy that had him covered. You kids better be smarter.
You dirty space crawler.
Want some of the same?
Take it easy, Roger. We haven't got a chance right now.
Not now or ever. So just move back while I get his gun. That's it.
What did you do to Astro?
The big boy on the power deck? He's in the deep freeze, too. Never even saw me sneak up behind him.
Pretty brave guy, aren't you?
Being brave don't pay off, sonny boy. Look at your colonel. Makes a real nice statue, don't he?
All right, so you got us. Now what?
Everything will come out okay if you two act like good little boys and keep this ship going right on course.
As we're heading now?
Yeah. I'm going your way. I got a date with my gang near Rhea.
Rhea? Then the colonel's tip was accurate.
Sure, just like he figured. We're taking over F3. And the price will be going way up.
Tom, why should we run the Polaris for this space rat?
Well, how do you mean, Roger?
Suppose we just quit, knock off, and let Ugly here run the ship himself.
No, passive resistance, eh?
It won't work, fellas, so don't even try.
Oh, why won't it?
I'll tell you. So far, I've been trying to be nice about this whole thing. Even using a parallel ray to just paralyze you monkeys instead of killing you with a heat blast.
Well, thanks, Ahe.
You're welcome, but get this straight. Try any tricks. I'll shove your buddy Astro and the colonel out into space.
That'd be murder.
Some might call it that. I'd call it a lesson for fresh kids. And if that didn't line you, I could get rid of you two the same way.
Guess he's got us stymied, Roger.
What? Where'd he be without a pilot, navigator, or radar man?
Don't worry. I'd make out. I'm no hot rod space cadet, but with the course set, I can take the ship in from here.
He could at that.
Now, that's being sensible, kid. Behave. You'll all stay alive. There's plenty of work to do and plenty of information you can give us.
You think we tell you anything?
People always do. Look how we were able to find out about this little junk of the Cowans. In time for me to stow away and stop them.
How did you find out?
Never mind. We're just smarter than the Solar Guard, that's all. Like I'm smarter than you.
Smarter than us? Why, you ape-faced dimwit.
Wait, Roger. Maybe he's right.
I don't like the way you're talking, Junior.
He's just getting wised up.
Maybe he is smarter, Roger. Anyway, he's got the gun, and you've got to admit it looks as if we're licked. Hey, Roger.
What do you want, quitter?
Aren't we getting badly off course out of the space lane?
What's that?
Haven't you noticed, Roger?
No, I haven't.
It's your job to check our orbit, Roger. Do you want us to get into trouble?
Yeah, how about that? What's wrong, Corbett?
Well, take a look at the stars out there. Doesn't the pattern look wrong to you?
Stars? Well, they look about like always. Maybe a little funny.
Sure, it's obvious we're off course. Look at the relative position of Vega, for instance.
Vega? Oh, yeah, sure, Vega. Yeah, that's right.
We're in trouble. Listen, Roger, it must be the cosmic drift.
Cosmic drift? You got space junk in your head, or is it...
Space junk, you're right, Roger. That's the danger.
That's not what I said.
Absolutely. Cosmic drift could carry us right out of the clear space lane into the tombstone area.
Hey, I've heard about that. We could really get clobbered by space junk there.
That's right, Roger. Anything could happen there. Anything.
Huh? Oh, it sure could. You got any suggestions for escaping this cosmic drift, Tom?
Well, you got us into it, wise guy. Now get us out of it. And fast, or I'll put the freeze on you.
Hold on. Roger has to navigate.
Okay, but get going.
Our course is starboard, isn't it, Roger?
That's right. An 8-degree sweep should put us about right. Then I'll give you more correction.
Jack, get back where we belong fast and stay there this time. No young punk can put anything over on me.
I've had my lesson. I know what I'm doing now.
Yep, we'll do just what you say. Now, come on, Roger. If we work fast, everything ought to turn out all right.
Look what I'm picking up on the radar screen, Junior.
Let me see, Roger. Uh-oh.
What now?
A big piece of space junk right in our path.
And some hunk of rock big as a mountain.
Well, that cosmic drift sure threw us off. Now, come on, do something.
Well, I'm going to try, you can bet. Gosh, that thing's close.
And listen to the blips.
Why, they're building up. We'll be into it in a minute.
Well, come on, get them over.
I'm trying, but this is an emergency. We need a blast on the steering rockets. Roger, get down to the power deck, right?
No, stay right here where I can watch your boat.
Well, then we can't work the steering blast.
Pull out with the controls.
Impossible. Can't you see I'm trying? There's a warning signal. We'll smash. Let me go down.
No, Corbett, get us out of this or I'll shoot.
Well, if we don't get out, there'll be nobody to shoot.
Shut off the power.
That'll make it worse. No thrust. I can't get out of the way.
Blast you, you're not trying.
Maybe you could do better.
Yeah, I could. Let me hit those controls.
Okay, take them. And this, too.
Oh.
Knocked them cold, Tom. Nice going.
Yeah, it was a snap. I hit him with the control lever.
That piece of space junk really had him worried.
How far away is it, really?
Far enough to be safe. That was a great bluff you put up, Tom, struggling at the controls without moving them.
Yeah, you did a nice job with the enlargement control, too, building up the picture and the blips. But it was the warning bell that really scared him. How'd you set that off, anyway?
Shorted the wires. And, Tom, I'm sorry I didn't trust you before.
Skip it. Let's get out of here. Don't forget, we are in the Tombstone area now. I'll just start a sweep back to port and lose that space mountain out there.
Right. Oh, it's gone. Cosmic drift. Oh, brother. Hey, let's unfreeze the colonel with this gun.
Thanks. That was rough. Seeing, hearing everything, but being helplessly paralyzed. I'll admit I didn't catch on to what you were up to, Tom, until Roger started to play along.
Smart work, Junior. Pretending to put us back on course and heading for the space junkyard instead.
Anyway, it worked. Now we have to reset our orbit to Rhea. Sir, will you go down and unfreeze Astro?
You bet. Give me the gun.
Hey, Roger. The radar, didn't you turn the gain down?
Yeah, something really is coming. Jumping Jupiter, try to dodge, Tom.
Okay.
It's a small piece, but right on top of us. Look out!
Great galaxy. It must have gone right through the ship.
And I shorted out the bell that would have warned us in time.
The rockets are dead. The space junk must have hit the power deck. And Astro's down there, still paralyzed. Come on, we've got to find out if he's hurt. How is he, Colonel?
He'll be all right, Tom.
You sure, sir?
Yes, there's no fracture. But that piece of metal gave him a hard clout just the same. He'll be unconscious for several hours. How about ship damage?
Bad, sir. We sealed up the holes in the hull easily enough, stopped the air loss. But the rockets...
Well, it's hard to believe one crummy little hunk of stone could tear things up like that.
How soon can we make repairs?
Well, Astro's the mechanical whiz.
Yes, he could patch it up in a few hours. We'll have to go more slowly.
How long?
Oh, maybe half a day. Faster if Astro comes to in time to help.
Half a day without power? You realize what that means?
Yes, sir, we sure do. It means we'll never get to Rhea in time to stop that raid.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
The Hydra blasts off for a patrol around Saturn's ring. Space freighter Lexus blasts off with a cargo for Mercury. Space cruiser Draco blasts off on a Mercy mission to Venus. One after another, ships from Space Academy hurtle out into the far-flung regions of space. And now here's the one man responsible for the perfect execution of these operations. The Commandant of Space Academy, Commander Arkwright.
Spaceman, you can take my word for it. Every man on those spaceships is equipped with an official pair of space goggles. I wouldn't allow a man out into space without a pair. You see, space goggles protect a cadet's eyes when he's rocketing through space. And they'll help protect your eyes when you're heading into the glaring sun or bucking a strong headwind. You'll find dozens of good uses for your pair of space goggles. They're made of one sweeping curved piece of colored plastic, and they fit comfortably over both eyes. So, spaceman, Send for your goggles right away. Listen carefully and write down these instructions.
Here's what you do. Send 25 cents, one box top from Kellogg's Pep, and your name and address. That's 25 cents, one box top from Kellogg's Pep, and your name and address. Send to this address. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Spaceman, write for your official space goggles today, and be sure to eat the Spaceman's Breakfast. Kellogg's Pep. That swell-tasting, build-up wheat cereal.
By pretending that the Polaris was about to collide with a huge mass of space junk, Tom and Roger managed to trick their captor, regain control of the ship, and release Colonel Cowan. However, the trick backfired when a smaller piece of rock tore through the Polaris and knocked out the main drive. With the cruiser drifting powerless and ace mechanic Astro unconscious from the accident, it now appears that they will be unable to stop the gang's raid on Rhea, the satellite of light.
You boys were right. This is hopeless. We just don't have the know-how to do a quick repair job.
Well, we can't give up, Colonel.
Of course not. But this way's too slow.
We're not doing so bad, sir. This mess is beginning to look like a power system again.
A little, Manning, but we can't gamble on it.
Maybe Astro will come too sooner than you figured.
It's still a gamble. And remember, thousands of lives are at stake, including my wife's.
Then we'll have to notify the Solar Guard over our audio channel.
No, if we break audio silence, we'd be notifying the criminals, too. They're probably tuned to our frequency right now.
Oh, suppose they did hear us. What could they do?
Move faster than they planned. They'd hit Rhea, grab the F3 viricide, wipe out the plants, and get away. If there were only some way.
Sir, wait a minute. There's the jet boat.
Go from here to Rhea in that flivver?
We are pretty far away, but there's a possibility.
It might work.
You said you didn't want to gamble, sir, and this is the biggest gamble I can think of. Jet boats don't carry that much fuel.
Just the same, I'm going.
You'll need a pilot, sir. I'll go along.
Thanks, Corbett, but I couldn't ask you to do that.
You didn't ask me, sir. I volunteered. Roger, you keep at the rocket.
Sure, but
when Astro comes to, he can help. And when you get the ship fixed, follow us to Rhea.
All right. Don't worry about us. But this jet boat junket is plain crazy.
It has to be done, Roger. You know that.
And suppose you do make it. What can two men do against a gang with a spaceship?
He's right, Corbett. It's a long shot. Better let me go alone.
No, sir. At least two men have a better chance than one. And as long as there's any chance at all, we have to try. Right, sir?
Right.
All right, then, Colonel. Let's go. Sir, there's Rio below us.
I didn't think we'd ever see this place. Listen to those jets. They're nearly finished.
Fuel's about gone. If I hadn't happened to hit it right...
It didn't just happen. You're a fine pilot.
Well, thanks, sir. We're close enough now to take a look through the glasses and see what's happening.
I have them here. I'm almost afraid to look. The gang has already hit and run. Well, here goes. Great Jupiter!
What's wrong, sir?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Men at work just as usual. We're in time.
Well, thank goodness. I'll tell you the truth now, sir. I didn't think we had a chance.
And neither did I. The gang must be holding off, waiting to hear from their man on the Polaris.
I guess we've been pretty lucky, sir.
Well, we don't need much more luck now. Just a little, and our mission will be accomplished. Rhea's precious medicine will be saved for the people of the entire universe.
Don't miss the next action-packed episode with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when Tom and Captain Cowan find that treachery awaits them on Rhea in Part 2 of The Satellite of Death. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin and Neil O'Malley. Today's program was written by Don Hughes, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Raisins and bran flakes, too. They're out of this world. They're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Kellogg's raisins are honeycomb coated to keep them tender. The bran flakes crisper. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Raisins and bran flakes, too. They're out of this world. They're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Escape, brought to you by the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York and the independent marketers of Richfield gasolines, motor oils, and other petroleum products. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps.
Tonight, we escape to the Nevada desert in the story of a foreign spy who sought to renounce the left arm and become once again an American citizen. As Hildegard Thielhet tells it in her exciting new novel, The Rim of Terror, starring Miss Nancy Kelly.
I don't know why I gave him a lift. Even now, with the terror gone like a half-remembered nightmare, I can't be sure why I stopped the big Bentley convertible on that lonely road in Nevada and gave him a lift. Maybe because he looked so bedraggled standing there hatless in the rain by the side of the road. Maybe because he smiled grimly, almost with a sneer that was a challenge. I don't know. Anyway, I slammed on the brakes and he walked slowly up to the car. Torko, my big Chinook, stiffened on his seat beside me. Quiet, Torko.
So you've decided I don't look like too much of a risk?
Not at all. Please get in. You look very wet.
As a matter of fact, I am very wet.
Backseat, Torko.
Torkel, is it? How are you, Torkel? He's quite a dog. I bet he could easily kill a man.
Oh, he's really quite well behaved, and he wouldn't attack without orders.
You have made yourself quite clear. Impressive machine, this.
I love it, but I'm really not used to it yet. I just got it last week.
You drive it very well.
Oh, thank you, but I don't really.
Where are we now?
I'd say about 25 miles east of Winnemucca. You're new to this part of the country?
Yes and no. I've never seen that view before.
It's breathtaking. Such a difference from back home.
Back home?
New England. This is the first time I've ever been in the West, and I love it. The scenery is
yes,
so...
but this particular scenery doesn't appeal to me very much.
Why not?
I'd say there's someone waiting for us down there. Look.
I looked. And far below on the valley floor was a fork in the road and an abandoned building. Near it was a black speck that looked like a wagon and two smaller black specks that moved. Men, no doubt, though from here they looked like ants.
I'd suggest slowing down. Not much, though. I expect they're watching us through field glasses.
Who?
Let me out here.
What?
This cut hides us from them. Stop the car. I'm sorry our ride together must end so soon. Don't be afraid. Have your dog sit in the front seat and keep him there until you're safe in Winnemucca.
I don't understand.
You know what a roadblock is?
A roadblock? Are the police after you?
Not the police of this country. Just tell them you have not seen me and they'll pass you on all right. Goodbye. Thank you.
turned and started climbing the steep bank at the side of the road. He stopped halfway to the top and impatiently motioned me to go on. I slipped the car into gear, and suddenly I felt very much alone and scared. I motioned Torkel into the front seat and started down the pass into the desert valley. A couple of miles further, at the forks, the road was blocked by a black delivery truck. I was almost tempted to swing around it, but the man in the plastic raincoat who held his hand up so casually didn't look dangerous at all, so I came to a stop. Another man in a black raincoat was leaning against the truck trying to clean the mud from his shoes. Across the panel of the truck was a sign that read, Nevada Public Opinion Surveys, Carson City. I felt a little silly for feeling scared a moment before.
Howdy, miss. We're making a traffic check.
Yes?
Mind answering a few questions? Only take a minute.
What do you want to know?
Well, now, let's see. Where are you from?
Vermont?
Vermont? Well, I declare. We don't get many tourists from Vermont. You come all this way alone?
Well, I don't suppose you'd count my dog as a passenger.
I guess not. Although I always say a dog's a man's or a woman's best friend. Nobody else with you?
No.
Have you given any rides to hitchhikers?
No.
No?
Through the windshield, I saw a man in the black raincoat reach into the van. There was a smear of yellow paint on his raincoat, and the letters on the neat sign were blurred. It had been freshly painted, and the paint had rubbed off when he leaned against the sign a moment ago.
Even if you've given somebody just a short ride, we have to put it down. It's for the statistical average.
I'm sorry, but I've lost too much time already. I can't answer any more of your questions. The man in the black raincoat was beside the car now, peering in over the interviewer's shoulder.
Somebody's been sitting in the seat next to Curlyhead there. You can see where the seat's wet. Let's quit stalling, Mr. Smith.
Shut up. Ma'am, you can see for yourself you've had somebody sitting in that seat not very long ago.
My dog.
Your dog's as dry as a bone, ma'am.
I'll search the trunk compartment. Maybe she's got him hid in there. You get her keys, will
You take your hands off the steering wheel.
Now, ma'am, just give me the keys.
Torkel! I had no idea that Bentley had such power. It leapt forward under the accelerator as I swung it around, clipping the front bumper of the delivery truck, skidding across the wet road and throwing a sheet of liquid mud over the two men. Through the rearview mirror, I could see them running up the road after me, then stop and give up. I shifted into fourth and headed back up the mountain at 80 miles an hour. And then, as I rounded a curve, there he was again, my passenger, laboriously clambering down the bank at the side of the road. He waved to me when he heard the car. And again, I don't know why I stopped. Maybe it was the painful way he was limping. Maybe because his figure looked so tiny and alone in all that vastness. Maybe it was because I remembered the cruel blue eyes of the red-haired interviewer glowering balefully behind his thick glasses. Anyway, again, I stopped. Backseat, Torkel. Get in. I'm driving back to the main highway. I can take you into town that way.
I would not have hailed you, only I twisted my ankle up there.
Oh? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was watching from the hill. What happened down there? Lose your nerve?
I'm afraid I did. After they saw the damp mark your suit had made and the man reached for the ignition keys, I guess I lost my nerve.
Where was the third man?
There wasn't one.
He must have been hiding. Was one of them red-headed with glasses?
Yes. The other one called him Mr. Smith. What's this all about? Who are they? Who are you?
I suppose I do owe you some kind of an explanation. My driver's license and army discharge say I am Peter Whittlesey of Elko, Nevada. But they're very excellent forgeries.
Forgeries?
Oh, yes. You see, I am, or rather, was a spy.
What?
Yes, I landed in San Francisco 3 days ago in the crew of a little Greek freighter. Mr. Smith met me. His assignment was to get me from my ship to my new job.
Where? Los Alamos, New Mexico?
Naturally. I ducked him last night. Why are you stopping?
Get out.
How far can I walk on this foot?
Please, just get out.
When you picked me up, I was on my way to the police to give myself up. It's my only way to get away from them. You must believe me.
It sounds like a bad movie. Now get out.
What about that bullet hole?
What bullet hole?
In the windshield.
Oh? Well, I didn't see it before.
My friend, Mr. Smith, of course.
I suppose I didn't hear the gun go off over the sound of the motor.
Do you believe me now?
Maybe I do.
When you have been sent on a mission into a country by the left arm, you're not supposed to change your mind and go over to the other side. They don't like it.
The left arm? What's that, a fifth column?
Well, I suppose you could call it that.
How do you speak English so well if you're a foreigner sent over here by the left arm?
Foreigner? I was born right here in Nevada. And this is the only way I could get back home. No, please, don't make me get out. Take me to the nearest police station, will you? Please.
I suppose it was my New England conscience, or maybe just plain old curiosity, or maybe... Well, he was attractive. And on the twisting downgrade into Winnemucca, I learned his story, how he'd been born in Nevada of Central European immigrant parents, how he'd been taken back to their homeland when he was 11, how he'd fought the Germans with the partisans, and after the war had been educated as an undercover agent by the left arm, how he'd passed every test and resisted every temptation his teachers offered in his one desire to return home to America.
And believe me, America is home. I was born here, and I want to work here and to die here.
Do you think the police will believe you?
I don't know. Do you?
I want to, but it's a pretty wild yarn.
It's true. Every word of it.
I know it is. I feel it is.
Thank you. And now, tell me a little bit about you, a poor little rich girl.
Well, don't let this beautiful car fool you. It's the only extravagance I've ever indulged in my life.
Well, I must say, when you decide to be extravagant, you don't do it by halves. Oh, there's the city hall. Police station must be there. You can drop me here on the corner. You won't waste any time getting through town then. I don't even know your name to thank you.
It's Elizabeth White here.
I shall never forget it, nor your face.
You're forgetting your coat.
Huh? Oh, thank you. My name is really Alex Peck. I hope I shall see you again someday. Until then, wish me luck.
I do, Alex.
Goodbye, and thank you.
He turned and was gone, limping across the courthouse square, and I suddenly felt very much alone. I headed west once more for Highway 45 and the straight road across Idaho and Oregon for Seattle. And then a few miles further, Torkel nudged my arm. No, Torkel, no, we don't play when I'm driving, no. I glanced at him and slowed down. He had a wallet in his mouth. Alex's wallet. It must have been dropped out of his coat as he left the car. He'd need it. It was part of the proof of his story. I swung the big Bentley into a side road, whipped it into reverse, and straightened out on the road back to Winnemucca. I let the car out. 80, 90, 100, 105 on one straight stretch. And then down to a cautious 55 as I entered the town limits until I pulled up before the police station in the basement of the courthouse. Stay, Torkel.
Ma'am?
Are you the officer in charge here?
I'm Sergeant Helding.
I'm looking for Mr. Alexander Peck. I drove him here not more than a half hour ago. Mr. Peck left his papers in my car. I thought he might want them, so I brought them back.
Well, he's, gone, ma'am.
Gone?
Yep. Ma'am, you don't know how lucky you were. That fellow was a lunatic.
Lunatic?
Sure. His name is Peter Whittlesey from Elko. Nuttier than a fruitcake. He escaped from the Carson City Asylum last night. They came for him in the wagon.
A black panel truck?
That's right. Had Carson City State Asylum painted on the panel.
In fresh paint?
Pardon, ma'am?
You've made a dreadful mistake. That's the same truck that stopped me back at Indian Forks. It must be. You're one of the most stupid, incompetent ignoramuses that ever sent a man to be tortured. Yes, and perhaps murdered.
Now, ma'am, them's mighty hard words.
And I mean every one of them.
Now, ma'am, let's not have any sass out of you. You're too nice a gal to go around picking up strangers. Just run along now, ma'am. We're pretty busy here.
But don't you understand?
Understand you're wasting our time. Good day, ma'am.
No.
Just a minute.
What?
That's your car over there, that yellow Thunderbolt.
Yes?
You have any idea how fast you were going when you passed the Air Force?
Why,
Well, I'll tell you. I was doing 90 on my motorcycle, and you walked right away from me. I got a good mind to throw the book at you.
Here's a free offer you won't want to miss. A free offer by your Richfield gasoline dealer. Just for the asking, you can get a new 32-page baseball book that's a hit in any league. This new Richfield baseball book is the most interesting book of its kind ever published. It contains all the major league schedules and many minor league schedules. It shows the World Series box scores, and it has a special baseball quiz you can try on your friends. In the free Richfield baseball book, you'll also find seating diagrams of leading stadiums and dozens of other interesting facts on America's #1 sport. But the supply is limited, so be sure to get your free copy tomorrow from your Richfield gasoline dealer. Stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Ask for your free copy of the new Richfield baseball book tomorrow. And now we return you to Escape, starring Miss Nancy Kelly.
He was tall and capable looking, the state trooper. He had a kind face, even if he was threatening to throw the book at me. I told him the whole story, every bit of it, and he believed me. And you will help me, won't you?
That van can't go much faster than 50, 55 miles an hour, and my motorcycle can do close to 100. We didn't run into the van coming into town from the north, so I guess it's traveling along the highway south to Reno, maybe to California. I can catch it and stop it, sure, so what? How do I know the guy isn't a lunatic and the van isn't on the level? I got to have an identification.
You'd like me to drive behind you?
If you can identify those guys as the same guys who stopped you and tried to shoot you, I got a case. I'll make them wish they were never born. Let's go.
Once outside the city limits, the motorcycle leapt forward. I held the Bentley at 60 until it was a half mile ahead of me, and then I accelerated to keep the distance constant. The tachometers crept up 4,500, 5,000, 6,000 revolutions per minute. The cars we passed were silent blurs, respectfully pulling to one side at the peremptory scream of the motorcycle siren. Then down the shimmering surface of the road, miles ahead of us, appeared a lurching black speck. It was the van. The trooper waved his arm for me to slow down and swung alongside the truck. It was like watching a jerky movie from a great distance. And suddenly, the motorcycle swerved away, and the trooper was firing his gun. The van lurched into the ditch. The motorcycle slithered across the road, threw the officer onto the pavement. The man in the black raincoat stepped down from the van and walked toward the fallen trooper, stopped and fired his gun. And then the trooper raised his arm and fired. The man in the black coat fell forward and caught his balance and then slumped to the ground like a puppet with a broken string. I slipped into gear and drove up to the truck. The man in the black raincoat was lying on his back, staring sightlessly at the sky, a little red hole in his forehead. The trooper was sprawled out on the shoulder of the road, a trickle of blood from his chest soaking into the sand. Another man was slumped against the wheel of the van. They were all dead. And neither of the two men from the truck was Mr. Smith. Neither had pinkish red hair. Mr. Smith wasn't there. Mr. Smith still lived to avenge and pursue. But somebody else in this silent scene of death was alive. Somebody inside the truck, scratching at the bolted door. I unlocked the black doors of the van. And there he was. There, strapped in a straitjacket, was Alex. It was not until I'd untied him and had him safely out of the truck that I became faint.
It is all over. This part, at least. There's no reason to shiver and shake.
I can't stop.
It's shock. Now, let us pick up the pieces. How did you get here?
I found your wallet.
Go on. Make yourself talk.
You dropped it in my car. I thought you'd need it at the police station.
Are you well enough to drive that machine of yours?
I think so. Where?
Well, that depends on what happened to Mr. Smith.
Where is he? I thought he was in the truck.
No. Have you seen him?
And since he stopped the car this morning at Indian Forks. Where do you think he is?
I have not the slightest idea, but he's looking for us, you may be sure. We've got to get away from here.
All right, I'm ready. Come on.
No, wait a minute. What happened to you?
He pointed to my jacket. It was splotched with a deep red stain.
Blood.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the cans of paint in the back of the truck when you untied me. You must have spilled one. Take it off.
Why?
Do you want people to ask questions? Here, get in. Start the motor. Give me that jacket.
What are you going to do?
Ditch it. Oh, there's a car coming. Let's go. Good. It's in a dip a couple of miles back. They did not see us.
My mother knit that jacket for me.
Good. Then you know where you can have it replaced. Where are you headed?
We'll drive straight through to Seattle.
Oh, Seattle's too far.
No, now listen. My friend in Seattle, Charles Matthews, he'll know what to do. He has connections, even in Washington.
He may not be too willing to help me. Under the circumstances, I could hardly blame him.
Charles is bigger than that.
I wonder.
2 hours later, we were 120 miles nearer Seattle and filling the gas tank at a lonely motor court set in a clump of scraggly pines.
Sure is a thirsty bus. Took 22 gallons.
Yes, it was nearly empty.
That'll be $5.28.
Will you cash a traveler's check?
Oh, sure.
All right, just a minute. Alec.
What?
My traveler's checks, they were pinned inside my jacket. The jacket you threw away. We'll have to go back.
Do you have any idea what that piece of road will be like now? Half the population of Winnemucca driving out to see where the gun battle occurred?
But, Alec, that's all the money I have in the world.
You can stop payment on them. You can get your money back.
But now, right now, I've only got $1.75.
Let me see what I have in my pocket. 2 silver dollars, a lot of chicken feed. Yes, we can make it with $50 to spare. Here you are, madam.
Thank you. Come again.
How are we going to get to Seattle on 50 cents?
The moment I have not got the slightest idea.
Well, this tank full of gasoline won't take us half the way.
You could phone your boyfriend, collect, and tell him we are strapped and ask him to wire you some money.
I couldn't ask Charles for money.
Why not?
You wouldn't understand.
If you don't want to ask him for money, don't. I'll figure something out.
Yeah, like robbing a bank.
Maybe.
Oh, with your training, that shouldn't be too difficult.
Perhaps.
I'm sorry. That was unkind of me. Why do you suppose we're bickering like this?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Haven't you?
No.
Neither have I. Payette, Idaho was the first big town. It was dark when we got there. Alec told me to pull up in front of the hotel.
You can get a room and a hot bath while you're putting in your call to Charles.
I can't get a room for 50 cents.
Look across the street. That's what I've been looking for.
What?
A pawn shop. My watch should be good for a few dollars. It's Swiss, international currency, you know, Swiss watches. Now beat it. Get a bath. I'll take Torkel with me and call you in your room in half an hour. Come on, Torkel.
The hotel clerk showed me to a room on the second floor. It wasn't a very quiet room. On the corner beneath my window, the people of Payette were celebrating Old Timers' Day. They'd set up a kangaroo court and were trying their fellow townsmen who'd failed to cooperate by refusing to raise beards and wear pioneer clothes. But I couldn't waste time watching the fun. I had to get through to Charles. I placed the call and started the bathwater running when there was a knock on the door. Who is it?
Here, towels, ma'am.
As I unbolted the door, I happened to glance into the bathroom. There on the rack above the tub, fluffy and white, were my towels. I tried to push the door shut, but it was too late. Mr. Smith shouldered into the room. I started to shout for help, but the sound never came. He hit me in the pit of the stomach with his fist, and I fell across the bed, gasping for breath as the phone started to ring. I couldn't move. I couldn't make a sound. I lay there with the wind knocked out of me, watching Mr. Smith as he picked up the receiver.
Hello? How much delay? Oh, just a minute. I'll ask my wife. She says to cancel the call. We'll try later. Thank you. Now, young lady, no monkey business. You try to yell, and I'll cut off your wind for good. You two, you and Peck, have caused me a good deal of trouble. I had a lot of trouble finding you. You should not have done that.
How did you find us?
The left arm never fails. Where's Peck?
I don't know.
You're lying. But I have plenty of time. I'll wait for him here. He is sure to return for you.
I had to get to Alex. I had to warn him. The bathroom door was open. Smith was holding my arm, but for a moment he relaxed his grip. I swung away from him and threw myself into the bathroom, pulling the door shut and locking it. I expected him to shoot through the door, and I ran to the window ready to jump, but it wasn't necessary. There was a rickety fire escape. I crawled through and ran down the shaky steel stairs, dropped 6 feet to the mud, and ran around the corners of the building toward the old-timers kangaroo court on the corner, and there was Smith coming toward me through the crowd. He reached out his hand for me. I whirled around and shouldered my way through the crowd to the table where the man was sitting with the microphone. Please help me.
Oh, hello there, miss.
Now, give me your microphone.
Now, just a minute, miss. You can't interrupt this.
Please, it's a matter of life or death. Alec! Stay where you are. They found me. And then Smith came for me. He and a big man with a beard. And then a tawny streak tore through the crowd. Torkel. He heard my voice. He ripped the big man's leg. He jumped at Smith's throat. But before he reached it, the man with the beard pulled out a revolver. And Torkel lay there quiet.
Mad dog. That dog was mad.
I tried to bend over him, but I knew it was no use. He was dead, and Smith had me now, holding me.
I told her that dog was sick.
Your dog?
Yes. To see her, you think my wife cared more for the dog than she did for me. I told her a dozen times that dog was sick.
Let me go. I'm not your wife. Listen to me. Listen to me, please. You people, this man, he's a spy. He's a monster. He's trying to kill me.
Listen to her. Go on, folks. Listen to her. Drunk. That's what she is, drunk. Such a thing to say about your own husband, well, I declare. Now, I'm going to take you on home to the ranch and put you to bed. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Wait a minute there, now, just a minute. Maybe you don't know, but I'm the county veterinarian. You can't leave that dog dead in the street. According to the law, we got to make an examination of any dog that's dead or alive and suspected of rabies. Now, you get that dog in the police wagon.
But my wife...
I don't care about your wife. She wasn't bit. Now, you say you own that dog. Your friend here was bit in the leg, and you was scratched in the arm. Now, you get that dog in the wagon, and you follow him. And you, too.
Now, look here.
Now, you look here. That's the law. Now, get. Or do you want a little help from the rest of these good citizens?
Smith loosened his grip. I turned and edged through the crowd, which was moving in on him and the bearded drunk. I got to the fringe, to the open street, and I ran toward the Bentley, and there coming toward me was Alex. Coming from the pawn shop, Alex, alive, whole, limping but alive. Alex! Oh, Alex, my dear.
Get in the car, quick.
Torkel, they killed Torkel.
Get in, tell me about it later. We've got to get out of here.
Smith said he was a mad dog. They're holding him. They said he'd have to have a rabies test because he was bit.
Good. We'll notify the FBI from the next town. And I got enough for the watch to buy gas to get us to Seattle. Did you reach Charles?
No, Smith got into the room. He hit me.
Tell me about it later. Oh, slow down. Here's the highway signs. San Francisco left. And there we are, Seattle. Turn right. I said turn right.
You said San Francisco left.
Yes, but...
We're not going to Seattle.
What about Charles?
Who's Charles?
But I only got $20 for the watch.
I think I can get a little more for the car in San Francisco.
Hey.
Go to sleep, darling. You must be worn out. I don't know why I gave him a lift that day, but I'm awfully glad I did.
From the magic of modern chemistry comes xylene, one of the highest octane gasoline components ever discovered. Xylene means new power for your car, new high Antonoc. And listen, today every gallon of Richfield gasoline contains xylene. Xylene in Richfield gasoline means surging power for the toughest hills and quick pickup in traffic. It means smooth, knockless power along the highway mile after mile. Moreover, your Richfield dealer offers you a choice of 2 great Richfield gasolines, both with xylene. For best results in the highest compression motors, select Richfield Ethyl. Ethyl at its best. For the average motor, get Richfield High Octane at regular price. Each Richfield brand is tops in its class. Each contains xylene. Try Richfield gasoline with xylene. Test it. Compare it with any gasoline. Stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson and has tonight presented The Rim of Terror by Hildegard Tylette. Adapted for radio by Mr. Robeson and starring Miss Nancy Kelly with Hans Conried as Alex. Special music arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You're being haunted through the war-torn ruins of Berlin by a phony music hall mind reader who has stumbled on a secret that can send you to the gallows and from whom there is no escape.
The Richfield Oil Corporation of New York invites you to be with us again same time next week when once again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Checks and Good Hot Roastin' present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy, in their spacesuits on a tiny asteroid, are approaching a criminal who has stolen evidence that's needed to convict a crime syndicate.
He's got the metal box, sir, with the evidence.
All right, Chura, come out of that crater and get into our ship.
I'm getting into my own ship, Corey. And you're not going to stop me.
All right, we'll come down and get you.
Take one more step and I'll use this gun on you. All right. Have it your own way. I warned you.
Drop, Happy. Wow, that was close. That ray gun knocked a hunk of rock loose as big as your head.
Don't move, Hap. I think Chura means business.
He sure does. And it isn't funny business either.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Search for Asteroid X. Say, did you hear that, gang? That was the Terra Express train trying to get up speed on ordinary fuel. Not very speedy, was it? But now listen to that same train with super fuel in its tank. Man, that train is really traveling now because it's supercharged with super fuel. Now, gang, without a good breakfast, you can't go very fast either. But with super fuel in your tank, you're supercharged. Here's how Buzz Corey gets up ahead of steam in the morning. He has a good breakfast with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex, the super cereals that help us supercharge you. For taste, they're terrific. For size, they're perfect because they both have that modern bite-sized design. So, gang, get off to a quick start of the morning the way Buzz Corey does. Get supercharged. Just eat a good breakfast with the Checkerboard Super Cereals and get them today in the red and white Checkerboard packages. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. After months of careful investigation, Space Patrol agents have gathered evidence against the leaders of the notorious Saturn Syndicate. This gang, for months, has been victimizing honest businessmen on the outer planets of the solar system. Commander Corey has been awaiting the arrival of an agent with the evidence that will convict the leaders of the syndicate. Now, Buzz grimly enters his central office on Terra, where Cadet Happy is decoding spaceograms. Lock those messages in the file, Happy. You can work on them later.
Is something wrong, Commander?
There certainly is. I just received a report that Fraser's in the hospital. All the evidence is gone.
What?
Somebody jumped Fraser while he was on his way here in a surface car. He was knocked unconscious. Every scrap of evidence was stolen. Documents, microfilm, everything.
Do you have any idea who did it, sir?
No, I understand the doctors won't let our security people see Fraser yet.
Is he badly hurt?
Fortunately, no. The loss of that evidence puts us right back where we started 3 months ago in the Saturn Syndicate investigation. Come on over to the hospital with me. As soon as the doctor's okay, I want to ask Fraser some questions.
Cut your speed and go lower, Hundley. I think I see something down there.
Where?
Right near that small pond. Isn't that a building of some kind?
Hey, you're right, Chura.
Well, I hope it's occupied. Say, there is a man down there by the pond.
That's a
surprising to find anybody in this part of Mars.
Set the ship down. We'll load up with food and water.
Suppose this guy won't give us any?
Well, then he'll get what our friend, the Space Patrol agent, got.
Do you think you finished that guy, Chora?
Who cares? We got the evidence.
Yeah, but I won't rest easy until we get it hit on Asteroid X.
Kick on the repeller ray.
Repeller ray on.
Well, we're done. If we get enough supplies here, we can go into free fall near the asteroid belt till we decide what our next move is.
I wonder who this guy is. Sure must like solitude.
Now, we don't want any trouble if we can help it, Hundley. Let me do the talking.
Don't you always?
all right, let's go. Now the outer hatch.
Hi there.
He looks good-natured and not very bright. Just what we ordered. Hello, friend.
Having trouble with your ship?
No, but we're out of supplies, food and water.
When we left Lowell City, we thought we had enough to get to Neptune, but looks as though I miscalculated.
Well, I got plenty here, gentlemen. Come on in, take what you want.
We'll pay you for it.
Oh, no, I got plenty. Come on in the house and help yourselves.
Right, that's mighty generous of you, Mr.
Noonan. Marty Noonan. By the way, I don't believe I got your names.
Well, I'm Steve Chura, and this is my friend Wally Hundley. Now about those supplies.
Oh, sure. Sorry, you folks are in a hurry. But since you are, just come with me, gentlemen. I brought this extra box of rations, gentlemen, just in case of emergency.
Here, I'll pass it up to Chura.
All right, Hundley. Come aboard.
I sure wish you fellas could stay a while. Don't get many visitors.
So do we, Mr. Noonan. But we got to get going.
Well, I understand.
Well, very much obliged, Noonan.
Oh, no trouble at all.
So long. Take care of yourself.
Goodbye.
Better stand back and watch our rockets. We're going to blast off.
Sure, a couple of swell fellas. Say, what's this? Little box. They must have dropped it. Hey, wait! This looks pretty important. Microfilm Reel 14B Property of Space Patrol. Investigation Squad Number 3, Space Patrol Headquarters, Terra. Gosh, they're Space Patrol agents. I'd better call headquarters right away.
Commander, will you take the spaceophone call? It's something about a can of microfilm a fellow found on Mars.
All right, Happy. Corey here. Go ahead, please.
Commander, my name is Noonan.
Yes, Mr. Noonan?
A couple of your agents dropped a can of microfilm on the land. Want to know how to go about returning it.
Well, what does it say on the label?
Reel 14B, Investigation Squad Number 3.
Oh, just a minute. You say Space Patrol agents dropped it?
Yes, sir. I think it fell out of one of the men's pockets.
Happy. Squad 3 was on the Saturn Syndicate case. Mr. Noonan, what were these agents doing on your land?
They ran out of supplies on the way to Neptune.
Did you see their credentials?
No, I didn't. Just figured they were agents when I found the film. Said their names were Steve Chura and Wally Hundley.
Did you ever see these men before?
Why, no, Commander.
Where are you now?
At my place. Sector 17H on the Martian plain. About 4 6/10 DUs directly northwest of Lowell City.
Got that, Happy?
Yes, sir.
What kind of a ship did these men have? Was it a Space Patrol ship?
No, didn't have any insignia at all. But I don't know what kind it was.
Mr. Noonan, hold on to that microfilm. I'm coming after it.
Right, Commander.
And don't give it to anyone else. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your cooperation. I'm on my way. Corey out.
I've just checked, sir. We don't have any agents named Chura and Hundley. Not on Squad 3, anyway.
Well, chances are those are the men who knocked out Fraser. At least they have the evidence, or I should say, had it.
But Fraser didn't get a look at the men who attacked him.
Well, I'll blast off from Mars and get the film, Happy. Maybe we can get some more information from this man, Noonan.
I finished decoding the patrol unit messages, sir.
Good. Will you read them, Happy?
Yes, sir. Quote, the Commander-in-Chief aboard Terra 5, Jupiter Patrol, searched Mars to Neptune orbit. No suspicious craft sighted. Unquote. From Saturn Patrol, same, negative. Neptune Patrol also replies a negative.
Any more?
Well, Patrol Ship 34A, Asteroid Belt, picked up an unidentified object in their view scope. They're investigating it.
Happy? We're going right into Lowell City.
And how about the microfilm at Noonan's place?
Yeah, you can go after it in an atmosphere ship after we land. I'll call Noonan, describe the credentials you'll present to him to relieve him of my original order.
All right, sir.
See how much you can find out about those men he saw. Get a full description. Very likely their right names aren't Chura and Hundley.
It's almost certain they lied when they told Noonan they were going to Neptune. Shall I bring Noonan back to Lowell City? If you think he can give us any useful information. Yes, sir. Well, we'll reach Mars in 20 minutes, sir. I'd better check Lowell City Space Control.
Better get the evidence ready. We're nearly to Asteroid X.
All right, sure. What a terrific place to hide it. Even if somebody knew it was on an asteroid, how would they know which one?
Now remember, Hunley, when we get to the asteroid, be sure to mark the exact universal star time to the 10th of a second.
Why?
Well, otherwise the orbit computer can pinpoint its location when we want to find the asteroid again.
Yeah, I get it.
Have you got the evidence ready to unload?
Yeah, all except... Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Reel of microfilm. I had it in my pocket. It's gone.
Huh? What was it doing in your pocket?
That spilled out when we took the stuff from the agent's surface car, so I just stuck it in my pocket. Oh, well, probably doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? That reel might be just the one to convict the boss. And us. How did you happen to lose it?
I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Back at Noonan's.
Huh?
Yeah, it may have fallen out while I was bending over to pick up the box of food or water containers.
How could you be that careless? Well... at least Noonan's alone. We got to go back and look for it. There's nothing else to do.
Hi there.
Are you Marty Noonan?
Yep, that's right.
I'm Cadet Happy. Here are my Space Patrol credentials.
Mighty glad to know you, Cadet. Commander Corey called me about you. Oh, here's your microfilm.
Oh, thanks. There are several questions Commander Corey wanted me to ask you about these men.
Sure, and Hundley? Well, I'll tell you what I can. Suppose we go in the house and have a bite to eat while we talk.
All right, fine.
It's a mighty fine-looking little atmosphere ship. How fast will she go?
Oh, probably 1,200. On this trip, though, I averaged about 8:32.
From Lowell City to here in 9 minutes and 54 seconds. Say.
Yeah, about that. Let's see. I took off at... Hey, how did you figure that out so quick?
Oh, I don't know. Answers just sort of come to me. Don't have to think about it. It's lucky, too. Because if I had to tell you how I do it, I'd get all confused and come up with the wrong answer.
I have to figure everything out on paper or use the electronic computer in the ship. Well, first, Mr. Noonan, can you give me a description of these two men?
Well, sure is about 45, 6 feet tall, weighs about 210 Earth standard.
Well, Mr. Noonan, you've given me a very complete description of these crooks, and their ship was very likely a Class C private cruiser from the way you describe it. Could you come to Lowell City with me, Mr. Noonan? I think Commander Corey would like to question you further.
Why, of course.
I'd like to get back as soon as possible. Do you mind if I use your spaceophone?
Okay, Noonan. You two, Cadet, get your hands out.
Sure, and Hundley.
That's right. Don't make a move for your gun, Cadet, or I'll use this one.
Okay. Which one of you has the microfilm?
What microfilm?
You know what microfilm. Noonan must have found it or you wouldn't be here. Hundley, take the cadet's ray gun and search him for the tape.
Sure.
The film's in my jacket pocket, and it's going to
stay there. You want to play rough, eh, Cadet? You let him alone. You keep out of this, Noonan.
Sure, help me.
All right, I'm coming. All right, Cadet.
I nearly got the gun away from me.
Well, after this, don't be so careless.
I got him. Here's the microfilm. Now, let's get back to the ship.
The cadet's coming, too. And I got an idea. We're going to take him with us.
What for? Let's finish him here.
Oh, not till we find out how much he knows. Come on, Cadet. Come on your feet. We got a nice long walk.
Walk? Where to?
To our ship.
What about Noonan?
Oh, that stupid oaf. Leave him here. Smash his spaceophone. And the one in the cadet's atmosphere ship as well.
Okay.
Where are you going to take me?
Never mind. But I'll tell you this much. You better enjoy it because this is the last trip you ever gonna take.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment. Gang, this is Space Patroller Dick Tufeld, and boy, am I excited. We have a new machine here at Space Patrol headquarters, and it's terrific. It's the flavor meter for testing the flavor of food. Now, I have a plain, ordinary cereal right here, so let's test it. The better it tastes, the louder it'll ring the bell. Now, all I do is place the cereal in this slot and push the button. Not much flavor there, is it? Let's put in some other ordinary cereal and see what happens. Why, not even a tinkle. Now, gang, here's a couple of super cereals I'd like to test. I'll put them both in.
Wow, that did it. Those cereals really ring the bell for flavor. You bet. They were Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Chex, the cereals with that modern bite-sized design. Chex, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. Test them yourself, gang, in your own cereal bowl. And believe me, they'll really ring the bell for flavor. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. Commander Corey has sent Happy to Marty Noonan's isolated dwelling on the Martian plain to recover some stolen evidence, a roll of microfilm. Noonan and Happy were surprised by Chura and Hundley when the thieves returned for the film. After smashing Noonan's spaceophone, the criminals have taken Happy to their ship, leaving the unconscious Noonan locked in his house. Meanwhile, Buzz, in Lowell City, has tried in vain to contact Happy or Noonan by spaceophone.
Commander Corey to Space Patrol, Lowell City.
Space Patrol, Lieutenant Barton here, Commander.
Lieutenant, I've been unable to contact my cadet on any of the Space Patrol frequencies. And Noonan doesn't answer either, so I'm blasting off to see what the trouble is.
Would you like an atmosphere ship, sir?
No, a spaceship in case I need it. I'll go on Terra 5. Keep monitoring those frequencies. If you hear from either Cadet Happy or Marty Noonan, notify me on my private frequency immediately. Hello there. Are you Marty Noonan?
Yes?
I'm Commander Corey. Where's Cadet Happy?
Sure, and Hundley. They took him away, and they got the microfilm. I tried to stop them, Commander, but they knocked me out. They smashed my spaceophone and the one in the cadet ship there, too.
Do you know where they took him?
No, by the time I came to and broke out of my house, they'd blasted off. They'd locked me in.
Did you hear anything that would give us a clue as to where they were going?
No. All I remember was that one of them said we ought to be able to get there by 1,500 hours, but I don't know where they meant.
How long ago did they blast off?
About an hour and a half ago. Say, Commander, I'd like to help you find them.
All right, come aboard.
Thanks, Commander.
Maybe with the astrogation charts and the computer, I can figure out an approximate radius of where Chura's ship might be by 1,500 hours.
Well, if they're going to any planet, it'd have to be Jupiter.
Why do you say that?
Well, considering the speed of spaceships and the present positions of the planets and the approximate arrival time of 1,500 hours, it just has to be Jupiter.
Oh, it does?
Yes, they wouldn't need that much time to get to any of the inner planets like Earth and Venus, and they'd need much more time to get to Saturn.
You may be right, but as a double check, I'll work it out on the computer. The computer will give us the answer in a few seconds. Here we are. Now, let's see. Well, what do you know?
What'd you say, Commander?
Mr. Noonan, this is amazing. Either you made a very lucky guess, or you must know the exact distances and positions of all the planets relative to Mars.
Oh, I do. Make a hobby of remembering data like that.
Jupiter comes nearer to satisfying the equation than any other object in space. How do you do it?
I don't know, Commander. If I know a formula and the data, I can get the result. But if I stop to think how I do it, I get all confused.
There's only one thing wrong. They couldn't quite reach Jupiter by 1,500. Of course, they may be heading for one of the moons. I'll check the astrogation chart again.
Could be Ganymede, Commander, assuming we're right on the time factor.
We'll see. Mr. Noonan, you've hit it again. The astrogation chart puts moon number 3, Ganymede, very close to the vector. Ganymede's a good-sized moon. There are a lot of places to hide on it. The most we can hope for right now is that we're headed in the right direction.
I just talked to the boss.
What'd you tell him?
Just that we got the evidence against the gang away from the Space Patrol, and that we're on Ganymede. And the boss is going to stay on Saturn now that he's safe from prosecution.
How long do we stick on Ganymede?
Until the excitement over the stolen evidence dies down a little. Say, where's the cadet?
Sitting over there.
He's gone. I told you to watch him. The spaceophone. Look in the next room, quickly.
And I'm being held on Ganymede, Sector 9J.
Hey, get away from the spaceophone. Grab him, Hundley.
Sector 9J.
Hey.
I'll teach you, Cadet.
Now, watch him after this.
That was Happy. He was cut off.
Sounded to me like somebody hit him.
Sector 9J. That pinpoints the location, Mr. Noonan. We'll make a slow glide approach and land with repeller ray. Maybe Chura and Hundley won't hear the ship.
All right, Cadet. We could keep this on for hours, but I'm tired of playing games with you. Does Commander Corey know who knocked out the Space Patrol agent? Now, come on, answer me.
Oh, you're wasting your time, Chura.
I'm all for getting rid of the cadet right now. After that space phone call he tried to make a while ago, he's too much of a risk to have around.
I'm afraid you're right, Hundley. We'll take him away from the building and use the ray gun on him.
Now, let's get at it. Get your hands up, you two.
Corey!
Commander, you got here just in time.
Mr. Noonan put me on the right track, then we heard your spaceophone call. Chura, where's the Saturn Syndicate evidence?
It's where you'll never find her.
They put it on an asteroid, sir, somewhere in the asteroid belt, but I couldn't tell you which one.
There are thousands of them.
I'll untie your hands, Cadet.
Thanks.
Look out, Noonan.
Too late, Corey.
Shoot, Commander.
I can't. He's holding Noonan as a shield.
Hold on, Corey.
Are you all right, Noonan?
I'm sorry, Commander.
That's okay. After him, quick.
He's locked the door.
Hundley, have you got a key to this door?
Sorry, Commander. Chura has the only one.
Search him. I'll see if I can smash the door.
I've got my hands loose now, Commander. I'll help you.
All right, Happy.
Can't find a key on him, Commander. Just this slip of paper.
Uh-oh. It's Chura's ship. He's getting away.
Well, we still have you, Hundley.
Hey, Mr. Noonan, don't throw that paper away. That's the coordinates of the asteroid.
All right, Cadet. I'll hang on to it.
Once more, Happy. The door's giving.
There she is.
Escort our friend Hundley to the ship. Come on, let's get after Chura.
No sign of Chura's ship in the viewscope, sir.
Hundley, you must know where he'd be most likely to go.
Really, Commander? I haven't the slightest idea.
Probably heading for that asteroid to pick up the evidence. Mr. Noonan, let's see that piece of paper.
Here it is, Commander.
Yes. These coordinates are for a point somewhere in the asteroid belt.
Yes, sir, but the asteroid has moved thousands of DUs by now.
Yes, but the time is down here to the second.
Oh, you mean the time the coordinates were taken?
Yes. So by using the computer, we can tell just where the asteroid will be at any future moment.
Commander, look at Hundley.
Hey, get away from that computer! Get him, Happy! All right, Hundley. Quiet down or I'll knock you cold.
Look what he did to the computer.
Put it completely out of commission.
Here, now let's see you find Asteroid X.
Well, what are we going to do, sir? We can't possibly locate that asteroid until we get another computer.
I know. There are thousands of asteroids in that belt.
Commander, can I see that piece of paper?
All right, Mr. Noonan.
16 degrees, 23 minutes, 7 seconds. Sun arc tourist orientation, 123 million DUs from Sun Center. Commander, I think I can give you the approximate location of that asteroid.
You can work out that orbit equation in your head?
Already have, sir. You show me an astrogation chart, I'll mark down the coordinates.
Smoking rocket.
That's impossible. Nobody could solve an equation like that so quickly. Not in his head.
I've seen Mr. Noonan work, Hundley, and I think you're in for a surprise. Here's the chart, Mr. Noonan. Center that asteroid in the viewscope, Happy.
Yes, sir.
The approximate location you gave us, Mr. Noonan. The question is that Asteroid X?
There are hundreds of asteroids in this region.
Yeah, but look, there's a spaceship circling it. Hey, it's going to land.
Mr. Noonan, it looks as though you pinpointed the right one.
Sheer luck.
Increase our velocity, Happy. We may be able to catch Chura before he leaves the asteroid.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Noonan, will you go to the locker and get a couple of spacesuits for Happy and myself?
Sure will, Commander.
When we land on the asteroid, I'll leave you in the ship to watch Hundley.
There's Chura, sir, in that small crater.
You'll set down between him and his ship. Cut rockets.
Rockets out, sir.
Hit repeller ray.
Repeller ray on, sir. Landing secured, Commander.
All right, Happy. Let's get out there and grab Chura. Mr. Noonan, here's a ray gun. Hold it on our friend Hundley.
Very happy to, Commander.
He's got the metal box, sir, with the evidence.
All right, Chura. Come out of that crater and get into our ship.
I'm getting into my own ship, Corey, and you're not going to stop me.
All right, we'll see about that.
Now, take one more step and I'll use this gun on you. I warned you.
Drop, Happy.
Oh, that was close. That blast knocked loose a hunk of rock as big as your head.
Next time I'll widen the angle, and I won't miss.
Shall we rush him, sir?
Don't try it. Move 1 inch closer, Corey, and you're finished.
There's nothing we can do. Back to the ship, Happy.
Yes, sir. Commander, isn't there any way we can get him?
Just get into the ship. Close the hatch.
Yes, sir. Well, he can't hold out there very long without food and water, sir. Do we just wait?
He'd have to give up eventually. But he destroyed the evidence before he surrendered.
I guess there's nothing to do but blast off.
Turn your transmitter signal to low output so Chura can't hear us.
Yes, sir. All set. Hey, Commander, He'll have to pass right by this hatch to get to his own ship.
Yes, there's one weapon that might work. Right here in this container.
Liquid air. But how...
Unfasten the bracket.
Well, yes, sir.
Now, as he passes the hatch, open it as quickly as possible. And I'll open the valve on the nozzle. We'll squirt a jet of liquid air at Chura.
But what good will that do? Is the pressure strong enough to knock him down?
No, but the temperature out there in that asteroid is minus 240 degrees. Liquid air freezes at minus 218.
Yeah, but I still don't see...
There he is. Open the hatch, Happy, quickly.
Good shot, sir. It's hitting him.
I'm trying to spray it over his hand.
Hey, Corey, what are you trying to do? Fight with a water pistol?
Yeah, I got his hand.
Turn it off, Corey, or I'll put a blast charge into your ship. All right. I can't raise my arm.
That's right, Chura. Your gun hand is encased in a mass of frozen air. Yeah, that'll hold him, Happy.
Hey, he's just standing there like a statue.
Let's go out and bring him into the ship. He's harmless now. Well, what's funny, huh?
He thought he was hot stuff, but now he'll have to be defrosted.
We'll be back with an action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story in just a moment. Say, gang, did you ever hear the robot mastermind work? It's the amazing Space Patrol machine with a mechanical brain. It knows the answer to everything. Now, listen while I ask it some questions. What's the only hot cereal Buzz Corey ever eats? The hot wheat cereal that helps to supercharge him.
Instant Ralston.
Right, Instant Ralston, the hot super cereal that helps to supercharge you. And when you want a hot cereal that's really delicious, what do you ask for?
Instant Ralston.
Right, Instant Ralston. And when the morning's cold and you want to warm up your motor?
Instant Ralston.
Yep, the robot mastermind is right on the beam. So remember, to get supercharged, eat a good breakfast with...
Instant Ralston.
Hey, the robot mastermind answered for me.
Instant Ralston.
I can't stop it.
Instant Ralston. Instant Ralston.
The robot mastermind has the right idea, so get it today.
Instant Ralston. Instant Ralston. Instant Ralston. Instant Ralston.
And now for a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy have been locked in a building by two criminals who have blocked their only means of escape by pouring sodium-potassium alloy on the stairs. The liquid metal has burst into flame on contact with the air.
Commander, the heat is terrible.
We're going to face something worse than heat when the automatic fire extinguishing system starts to work.
But, sir, the water will put the fire out and we can escape.
Not with this alloy, Happy. It burns in air, but when water hits it, it explodes.
What?
The second that spray starts working, this whole building will be blown to bits.
Smoking rockets, unless we find a way out, that means we'll be blown to bits, too.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Lady from Venus, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! Now, gang, a word from Commander Buzz Corey.
Can you answer this question? What group of boys and girls are doing all they can to get grown-ups to donate more blood? These boys and girls are helping their country and having fun, too. They're my Space Patrol blood boosters. And I'd like you to join them today, right now. And here's something else I'd like you to do, too. Tell your mom and pop to buy the Christmas seals that the National Tuberculosis Association mails out. Christmas seals help fight TB. Just think, TB kills one person every 17.5 minutes. So join the fight. Buy the beautiful Christmas seals of the National Tuberculosis Association.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Bela Kovach, Ken Mayer, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.